Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to RRTV's live broadcast of the SEK Queensland GT Series, and we're coming to you from Circuit Park, Zandvoort. And I'd like to welcome to the commentary booth my co-commentator, Adrian Jarvis. Welcome back again, Adrian. You looking forward to tonight's race?
Yeah, Bernie, thank you very much. Good evening, viewers. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Been 2 weeks. I've had a bit of an extended break from the series, and interesting to see what's happening. We've got a few GTs out there tonight, so that's going to throw it into the mix.
It certainly is, and we're going to go through the change of the mix shortly. But let's have a quick look at this track, folks. Track length tonight, 4.3 kilometres, turns 13. Race distance tonight's going to be 2 hours and 35 minutes. Forget the laps and the kilometres there, that's an old slide. The driver lineup's interesting tonight. They can have anywhere from one driver up to a maximum of 3 drivers, and as usual, they have to do their fair share. Incident limit tonight is set at 38. Fast repairs are set to 2. Having a look at our weather at the moment, we are running realistic tonight, and the weather out there, as you can see, is mostly cloudy. Air temperatures 26 degrees Celsius, track temp 32 degrees Celsius, with winds northerly up to about 16 kilometres an hour. So it looks like they're going to get a nice, looks like not a nice one, looks like they're probably going to get a headwind coming down that main straight, which might slow them down. So, Adrian, have you driven around Zandvoort?
Yes, I have, Bernie. I've driven around here. It's probably not my favourite track, to say the point, but obviously everyone's got their favourite, and I've driven around here a couple of times, so don't dislike it, but yeah, just definitely not a favourite of mine.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky track, really, but for the viewers at home, if you keep an eye onto the hairpin on turn 1, there could be some action down there tonight, especially on turn 1. Again, passing opportunities up through the sweeper of turn 4 and 5, but they're really going to have to tuck in when they get to turn 6, because that's not really for 2 cars. But then through 7, 8 and 9, and coming down to the tight hairpin of 10, 11, that's all passing opportunities through there, and again through turn 12. So there's a lot of passing opportunities here, but these cars are pretty evenly matched these days, so we'll see how they go. But Adrian mentioned earlier about the mix. So Adrian, do you want to update the viewers a bit about the updates and which cars to keep an eye out for this season?
Yeah, certainly, Benny. Obviously, tonight the viewers are going to see that we're getting a few Ford GTs this season, which has brought to light for Bernie and I wanting to see them come through. So they've had a massive update over this week 13, and they're much quicker in a straight line this season. So they're going to be a car to watch. McLarens are probably the second quickest, but they're still on edge, Bernie. They still can't seem to find the right balance in that car, and looks like the BMWs are going to struggle as the guys are finishing up here and ready for qualifying.
Yeah, that's right. They've done a lot of work on the Ford GT3, and it's an absolute rocket now compared to what it was anyway, and it's quite settled. I noticed I did a bit of a drive around with the Rough and the McLaren. They are more settled on the rims, or on the ripple strips than what they were, but yeah, you're right, the McLaren is quite tricky to get a handle of, which means we're only really going to see one of those this season by the looks of it. So it'll be interesting to see. We might have our first Ford GT3 on the grid tonight.
Yeah, not just one, Bernie, quite a few. I think I've seen about at least 5 there, and if we have a look at the standings, I'm sure there's more than that, but I just can't bring them up at the moment. But we'll see that tonight, and we'll see how they go. I did see Chris Osborne throwing his Ford GT. Yes, that's right. Direct Clutch Motorsports guys are actually in a GT, and have put some really fast lap times down there in practice, Bernie.
Yeah, the drivers that surprised me was the Schweck brothers. to see them in a BMW this season. I would have expected them to be jumping back into the Ford GT3.
Yeah, once again, decision. They've actually changed into a team too, Bernie, if you have a look at who they're racing for. So the team's gone from 2-car effort to a 3-car, so it's not just 2 cars now for TD Racing. They've expanded to 3 and signed up the Schweck boys.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's an excellent signing for TD Racing, because the Schweck boys aren't slow, that's for sure. So well done to Tim Ballinger and all the guys at TD Racing.
Yeah, quite a little bit of a sign up there for those guys. A little bit of story there. Last season, the Schweck boys had issues with their season due to the timing of setting up. So they had a look around and approached TD Racing and knew that their system was working over there. So moved over and jumped in some well-prepared BMWs, Bernie.
Fantastic. We'll definitely keep an eye on the Schweck brothers this time through. So basically the way it's working tonight, folks, for qualifying is they'll get 4 laps, well 3 flying laps. It's lone qualifying, which means they can't see each other or get a tow off them, but we can see all the cars. That's why you'll hear phantom noises every now and again, and you'll see cars disappear and appear during this qualifying.
Yeah, Benny, it's a good initiative by SEK and the RF boys here tonight, and I got that all tongue-tied. It's been a while, so you know, doing the hot laps, I think it's a very good idea. You know, you're on your own. You got yourself to blame if you make any mistakes, and you know, there's no drafting, so it's a all-and-out hot lap on your own.
Yeah, that's right. And while the guys put down those hot laps, I'll take the viewers through our field tonight so they can see the different mix of cars that we've got out there. So Sam Sutton will be in a Ford GT3. Andrew Kanowski's in a BMW. Lewis Kugerly is back in a BMW. Ballinger and Schweck are both in BMWs. Pearce is in the BMW. Newton, Marwood and Hawes will all be in roughs this time through. So that pretty much rounds out our top 10. Michael Schreier's interesting. He's in a McLaren, so we'll keep an eye out to see how Michael goes with that car tonight.
Yeah, we certainly will, Bernie.
Yeah, and we've got Gavin Sadler tonight in a Ford GT3 as well, so that should be rather interesting to see how they go. So a heck of a lot of Ford GT3s.
Yeah, certainly is, Benny. It certainly looks like it might be the car to have this season.
That's right. It looks like we've got Jans Hanna Korpi setting the fastest lap with a 1:34.754 and taking provisional pole at the moment.
Which is also in a Ford GT there, Bernie. See, the Blackouter boys have spread their field. They've got BMWs and Ford GTs this season.
Yeah, so looking at our top 5, we've got Jan Hanna Korpi in pole position, provisional. Christopher Osborne, Ford GT3, behind him second at the moment. Sam Sutton third in a Ford GT3. Andrew Kanowski, the first of the BMWs at the moment. And Baden Reed rounds out our top 5 in a rough.
Yeah, sorry folks, I'll just update you a bit, Bernie, the bits aren't working. There's a little bit of issue, it seems like, at the moment with trading paints. Some of them will work and some of them won't. We can't help if they don't work. Usually it's something that the system's not agreeing with at the moment. At the moment I'm not seeing all the paints either, and that's just something that's happening with trading paints and iRacing at this moment.
Yeah, and I've just done another update. I've done 3 since we came on air tonight, and unfortunately it's not going to pick all of them up. I have checked my settings and I've loosened up my settings quite a lot, so to speak, but still we're not picking all of them up, so we apologise for that, viewers, and hopefully the teams can look into the ones that aren't working and see if it's a problem at their end.
Yeah, but it's just a tricky one at the moment. It might be with the new updates and that through iRacing that some of the trading paints aren't working correctly. I know everyone will work their best to try and get them working. I know there's a few teams out there with the likes of TD Racing. They've updated their paint schemes this season. I believe they've got sponsorship this year, so obviously their cars are going to be looking pretty smicko, but I haven't been able to see them yet.
Yeah, neither have I, and the viewers might notice some of the cars are white and then getting their paints on. That's just because I've just done an update, trying to pull down those latest paints. But anyway, having a look at our top 5 at the moment, folks. Jan Hornakolpi, I can't pronounce that name, in first still with the 134.754. Chris Osborne second, third Baden Reed, fourth Sam Sutton, and Michael Schreier brings that McLaren up into 5th spot at the moment.
Yeah, awesome job there, and we see the Baden Reed's done a good job there to get his rough into 3rd place. Going to find it hard, I think. Like I said, we see these 4 GTs, definitely the ones to have, I think, this season. Bernie, they're putting the numbers down. Yeah,
I think they are the ones to have. We see now Juha Hannakopi going through for first position, looking great in that Ford GT3. But yeah, I did a bit of testing in all the cars when they first came out, and I think the Ford GT3 was the pick of the bunch for me at this stage, which says a lot because I'm normally either in the rough with a McLaren.
Yeah, I think they got a little bit more advantage with their fuel too, Benny. I think they can run a little bit longer for some reason. It seems to burn the fuel a lot better than the other cars as well. So would be interesting to see how far these GTs go if they do a 3-stop or a 2-stopper tonight, or even maybe one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Especially, you know, we're used to all of them stopping on the hour roundabout. Well, it's a bit of an unknown how all of these cars are going to go for fuel this season, but only time will tell, I guess. The other interesting thing, Adrian, was the BMW. When I drove that, I noticed it didn't seem to steer from the back as much as it used to. It felt a bit tighter to me, and I actually quite liked it, which is... Normally I don't like that car, but whatever they've done to it, maybe it's a new tyre model, it's feeling a lot better now, to me.
Yeah, that new tyre model's come out on the GT3, so all the GT3s have obviously got that tyre model, which is good, and I think it's improved the cars a lot more. It seems like the BMW is just struggling for straight line speed. I did watch a charity event that another broadcaster showed, and it was a charity event for diabetes, I think, and those poor old BMWs just got eaten up down the straightaway. They lost about 5 kilometres an hour down the straight, so just don't have the straight line speed at the moment.
Yeah, iRacing said they've tried to make these cars more realistic in cornering and top end speed, and it's definitely, you can tell that with the BMW at the moment. In fact, I think the BMW was probably the biggest loser as far as lap times go with this change. But one thing I did notice with the new tyre model is when you lock up a tyre here, the steering does go light, which helps a heck of a lot to know when you're locking a tyre here.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better tyre model, and it looks like we're ready to go. The boys should be lining up to start the race, Benny.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's going to be one lap behind the pace car by the looks of it. So let's go through the grid, folks. We've got Hannakopi held on for pole position tonight with a 134.752. Christopher Osborne in second. So we've got Ford GT3 on the front row, followed by Baden Reed in a rough. Then we've got Sutton in another Ford GT3. Great to see Schreier up there in the McLaren, so let's see how he goes with that car tonight. Kanowski in 6th in a BMW. Rod Pinder stays with the rough in 7th position. Lewis Kugeley back in the BMW in 8th. 9th is Rogers in a Ford GT3. Ballinger in a BMW for TD Racing. Dean O'Brien will start out of 11th. 12th, Schweck. 13th, Mansell. Hapats back in the rough in 14th. 15th will be Newton. We've got Funslow in 16th. 17th is Pearce. 18th, Forster. 19th, Sadler. And a Ford GT3, Marwood is starting out of 20th in a rough. 21st is Chris Keeping. 22nd, Houston in Ford GT3. It's great to see Oliver Searles out there in a BMW in 23rd. Matt Dignam starting out at 24th in a Ford GT3. Lance Hawes will be starting out at 25th. 26th, Jake Burton, and Richard Brookfield will be rounding out the field in 27th position. And
yeah, so a little bit of... Oh, sorry, Bernie.
No, you go ahead, mate.
Yeah, just a little bit of update too on TD Racing. You'll find that they've done a little bit of a change in that team. Aaron Osborne and Andrew Kanowski are actually driving together. So, and Timothy Ballinger and Pat O'Hara are in together this season.
Okay, well that'll be interesting to watch. And I must say, TD Racing's come a long way. They're a very young team, but already they've got 3 cars in this series, so they're growing at an astounding rate at this stage.
They're a good bunch of guys, and getting the Schweck boys in there as well is definitely a bonus for them as well. So just made it a bit stronger. So you know, it just goes to show you do well in a series, you can always pick up a couple of good drivers, and they've seemed to score them quite quickly, Bernie.
Yeah, no, that's good. Once you get a good team going and it gets momentum, it seems to attract drivers, which is what's happening with that team at the moment. And good on them. They're a great bunch of blokes, and I wish them all the success. But getting back to the race tonight, folks, if my mic is a bit soft, just let Adrian know in the comments and I'll try and turn it up. We did have problems with it earlier today, but I'm hoping that's fixed. So here we go, Adrian. Start of another season.
Yeah, another season. It's going to be interesting. This is not going to be... I'm hoping it's going to be a good start to the race this evening. It's one of those corners, like you said, turn 1. Then up to the next hairpin. It gets quite hairy through there. It's really only single file through there. Generally, I've been through here before. It's a really tight, twisty track up through there. Got a little bit of room coming down where they are now. You could probably get too wide, but coming off of that corner, you don't really want to be too wide. So it just gets a little bit hairy sometimes, and it's definitely on the start, Benny. You're going to have cold tyres. They're going to be a bit skittish on the first lap.
Yeah, that's right, and I'm keen to see how these big Ford GT3s go on their tyres when they're cold, because they do look like a lot bigger car compared to the BMW Rough and even the McLaren.
Yeah, they definitely got that big angry stance, don't they, Bernie? Wide and low, and yeah, they certainly do look a lot bigger, and yeah, those Roughs look really small against them, don't they?
They certainly do, and one thing I'm hoping in the future we'll see is multi-car, multi-class racing, and it'd be great to see the Aston Martin with the Corvette out here and running GT1s in another class with the GT3s.
Yeah, certainly will, Bernie, and look, I know with the way that iRacing is going forward, and especially with this GT class, it's taken off by leaps and bounds, and I'm sure they'll be working on it. It's not an easy task. There's a lot of code that they've got to type in manually and figure it all out. So, and they're doing a fantastic job. I know we bitch and complain sometimes, but they definitely have been working on it and definitely got a good formula going here at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly do, and with them signing up with the Blanc Pain or Blanc Pain or whatever you pronounce it, with that series, I predict a lot for GT type racing in iRacing.
Certainly with, and there's a lot of those around, so we'll see where they go. And we know we've got the Aston and Mercedes as they're coming on the last turn, Bernie, coming up to the straightaway ready for a start.
Yeah, so we'll see the pace car coming in, and then Ewer will have control of this field, but he's going to have to watch his left there with the other Ford GT3, and but Ewer should lead them into the corner here. So the pace car's in, folks. We're coming down to the start, waiting on starters' orders. We're under green now. Oh, and Ewer's a bit slow on the uptake. He nearly got rear-ended by that rough there. 3 wide coming into turn 1 here.
Yeah, the McLaren didn't get a good start either, Bernie. Oh, there's a big prang.
Yeah, that was Martin Houston involved in that car. We've taken about 3 out, but let's jump back to the front here, folks. We have, at the moment, leading the way, Ewer Hanakopi, followed by Christian Osborne. Gary Hamilton in the rough up to 3rd position, 4th Andrew Kanowski, and Michael Schreier's back there in 5th in the McLaren.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Bernie, with the 4GTs not getting off that line with cold tyres, but looks like a little bit of concertina. The 4GT slowed down there a bit, and the rough wasn't ready for it, and yeah, it was just a little bit of a race start incident.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of confusion on when they should go, because some series say go when the pole sitter goes, and some say go on green. So I think some probably thought they could go on green, and others thought they had control of the race.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Bernie, we've got another car and I'm trying to get to it. I know it's a rough. It is Rod Pinder. Unfortunately, they're one of the guys there that last season were driving so well. So spun around, but on his way again, and we'll see how well his car. Oh yeah, it must be damaged. He's off on the grass into the kitty litter, and nearly rolls. So I wouldn't expect him to get a fast tow here, which he has done.
Yeah, that car's absolutely trashed, and we'll have a look in a moment at the replay of that, folks. But let's jump back to the front of this race, and Hanakopi is still in the lead. Christopher Osborne still in 2nd, so the GT3s are stretching their legs now, with Gary Hamilton 1.3 seconds down already. Andrew Kanowski's doing a great job back there in the BMW Z4, and Michael Schreier is still running in 5th. Sam Sutton in another 4GT3, 6th. Kugeley 7th. 8th is Ballinger. 9th, the Schweck brothers. And rounding out our top 10 is Paul Rogers.
Yeah, so a little bit untidy start, Bernie, to start the race. Nothing too drastic at the moment, so the boys have been pretty well behaved, and like you said, that start, yeah, the 4GTs just didn't seem to be able to get off the line, could they? So that was something that the guys are going to have to be careful. I think it has something to do with their traction control. They've only got 3 settings on it, so maybe that's something that's going to hinder them on a start, Bernie.
Yeah, that's right, and it's great to see that Blackadder GT3 out in front, and it tricked me for a bit there, folks, but they're carrying new sponsorship on those cars, so it's good to see the new sponsors livery this season.
Yeah, Bernie, we've been waiting for that to come on board all last season, but obviously trying to get that paint scheme up and running is taking a little bit of time, and now they've got it on there, and they've got it on both the 4GTs and the BMWs, and it's looking actually a nice little paint scheme.
Yeah, it's definitely looking quite nice and racy, so I bet you the new sponsor's very proud of that paint scheme, and so they should be.
Yeah, for sure, Bernie, and being up in the top, up near the top front there, Bernie, also they'll be enjoying that at the moment.
Yeah, so what we might do, folks, is we're going to jump back and have a look at that incident Rod Pinder was involved in earlier on the first lap.
Plenty of racing everywhere, Bernie.
Certainly is. We'll just have a look at this replay. So we can see Rod going on the outside. He's just lost that himself, under acceleration and into the wall quite heavily. But oh, he comes out on traffic and he got clipped, I think, by another car. And we'll stay with this because he actually nearly rolls it, I think you said, Adrian.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to steer, and he goes along the grass and hits the fence, and it nearly rolls over.
Oh yeah, we've got that now. Yeah, it just didn't want to turn left, did it? And I guess, going head on into a fence wouldn't help your steering that much, would it?
Yeah, no, not really, Bernie. It's one of those things, once you've finished your steering on these, they really don't respond too well, which is really good. And like we've always been wanting, we want these cars to be more lifelike, and that's what iRacing is doing. And yeah, once you've had a big accident, that's what's going to happen.
That's right, and while we're looking at replays, folks, let's jump back to the incident at the start that involved a number of drivers here, and we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll focus on the leaders of the race. So you can see the start here, and yeah, there was just a concertina in the back there, and Martin Houston's been shot to the left. Well, in fact, it's taken out the number 72, the BMW of one of the Blackadder entries was involved in that. So quite a nasty incident. All three cars shooting to the left and into the fence.
Yeah, Benny, it was one of those ones, the GT car there sort of preempted a lot, like a braking manoeuvre there, and it caught the rough out, and yeah, it just turned to a big pile of mess there after that.
Yeah, that's an understatement, that's for sure. But, having a look at the moment, and we've had a change for the lead with Christopher Osborne passing Juha Hanakopi for that position.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge there for Christopher Osborne and Brad Wheaton season, and for the direct clutch boys with Chris and Stuart. Obviously, they're alternating their driving throughout the season this year, or this season, which was something they posted there earlier on. So one car this season for the direct clutch boys, and we're going to see how well they go this season.
Yeah, that's right. And having a look at the way these cars are going at the moment, it definitely looks like the BMW and McLaren are holding their own. But that Ford GT, it just has so much acceleration out of those corners at the moment.
Yeah, and it's definitely down the straightaway as well. So the only chance that these guys have got is just try and hang into the draft. And but we know how hard that is sometimes. If you get a good driver that can drive these things around the corners quick as well and get that break, it's so hard. But they're doing a great job at the moment, the other guys in the rough and the BMW, and I believe there's the McLaren sitting there too as well, just in the background. So doing a great job as per normal, and with the talent in this field, it's no wonder.
Yeah, that's right. And what we're going to do, folks, is jump on board here with Sam Sutton for a lap in the Ford GT3. So crank up the volume and enjoy the ride. folks, that was a lap around Zandvoort in the Ford GT3 with the Sam Sutton behind the wheel of that car.
Yeah, a little bit of update how Chris got around Juha. I said Juha actually had to slow down, so I didn't think we had too many around this track, but obviously we do. So unfortunate for Juha, and they're off racing still. And thanks for the viewers for that.
Yeah, as usual, the viewers keep us updated, which is fantastic. It helps us a lot and makes it better for everyone out there watching. But I guess if you're going to get an off track, you're going to find it in the big wide Ford GT3.
Yeah, I think you will, Bernie. It's actually quite surprising on how big they actually do feel inside that car. I mean, I've had a go at the GT a couple of times, and yeah, it's one of those cars. It's amazing, and it definitely a lot lower than the rest of the cars as well. So a bit of fun with those things.
Yeah, that's right. But at the moment, they're definitely showing the way there. Christopher Osborne has a 1 second gap at the moment over Ewer due to that penalty, but then 1.89 seconds back is Gary Hamilton at the moment. Andrew Kanowski's holding his own still in that BMW, as is Michael Shortreyer, but Michael's now over 5 seconds down on that leader.
Yeah, it's once again, Andrew's lost the draft from the cars in front, and it's just so hard to try and keep up with those guys if you lose the draft. And he's doing quite well there. He's got a McLaren behind him, and you can see Sam is right there behind as well at the moment. So a good racing between these three. They just can't seem to get on top of each other and make a pass stick. So it makes it really hard around this track if you're really close on time.
Yeah, it certainly does, but it does bode well for this series if we have three makes of cars here and they're all battling it out and can't quite make those moves stick. It should make for exciting viewing.
Oh, it certainly will, Bernie, and we did mention the BMW is going to struggle, and we do see Andrew here. He's driving the car quite well here tonight and doing a good job in the early part of this race, but they will come into their own sort of tracks, and the other cars are definitely going to have tracks that are suited to them only. So it's just one of those things, Bernie. We do have a car that's probably going to be dominant throughout the series, and that's going to be the GT by the look of it. But yeah, other makes will have their day in when they come to the certain tracks.
Yeah, that's right. And the other thing that's going to play out in this is fuel mileage when they get to it. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out tonight. But at the moment, Osborne is stretching the legs on this Ford GT3. The gap is now 1.1 seconds over second place Ewer, Panakorpi for Blackadder, and Gary Hamilton, though, is doing a great job holding on in third position at the moment.
Yeah, certainly is, Bernie. Doing a great job there. He's only a second behind Juha as well, so he's just hanging on there. Still in the draft at the moment, but we're reckon about 1.5 to 2 seconds. Once he gets that far behind, yeah, that's when you start losing the draft, and we see that with Andrew Kanowski. He's like 3 seconds behind and really starting to drop off time. He's doing 36.2 where Gary did a 35.9, so times are starting to drop off there after around fourth position.
Yeah, and the other thing we're going to have to keep an eye on is how these cars go on their tyres. I'd expect something like the Ford GT3 to use its tyres a lot more than the rough, but we just don't know yet, do we?
Yeah, Bernie, that's right. It's a new ball game for this season with the updates, and yeah, the GTs have got a lot more power, so they're going to probably use those rear tyres up a lot more than the roughs. We know the roughs are really good and nimble on their tyres, and we know they used to drop off, but we've got a new tyre model, so that may not happen at all yet, Bernie. We just don't know.
Yeah, that's right. We'll just have to play it by ear, so to speak, and see how that goes. But at the moment, there has been a change with Sam Sutton getting through on Michael Schreier there. So that's a change. Michael's now back in 6th. Sam Sutton's up to 4th.
Yeah, good driving. I'm just letting my cameraman decide where we are. I've come back down here, Bernie, with Paul Mansell, but Nathan Pat's in the Shelby.com rough. On my screen, it looks like the rough is looking a little bit rough at the moment, so it looks like he's been in a few battles.
Yeah, it certainly does. He's got a lot of left hand damage and bonnet damage on that car at the moment. So he's definitely been in the wars.
Yeah, certainly has, and still driving. Obviously, he's had a few contacts there and hasn't damaged the steering at the moment, so that's a good thing. They won't do anything with that at the moment until they come in for their first pit stop, I would assume, Bernie.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way with a race this long. If they can possibly hold out to their pit stop, they will, because otherwise it'll throw that strategy out the window, so to speak. The other guy coming up through the field as well is Lewis Kugeley at the moment, as he starts to close in on the back of Michael Schreier's McLaren.
Yeah, he certainly is, Benny. And I also saw there Sam's actually starting to close in on that BMW in front of him. So looks like Sam might be having a look at Andrew here soon as well.
He already has. He's just taking him now through that hairpin. I tell you what, they can break late in those 4 GT3s, and he just powered straight through the inside there to find himself up to 4th now.
Yeah, and it looks like it just put Andrew there for a minute. He definitely blocked his line going in there to protect his position, which is fair enough. He's let the faster guy go, but yeah, just protecting his position there, and it looks like he's just got a little bit of damage too on the front of his car there, Bernie.
Yeah, I can't see much damage on that car, but he's definitely starting to struggle a little bit out there, I think.
He got a little bit of left front damage there, Bernie. It's not much. It wouldn't affect the car too much, but we do know that if the front of that car, or of any cars here, get a little bit of damage, it does take a lot of air off it, and it actually slows them down, which I noticed last season.
Okay, yeah, I can just see it slightly on the left there. It's just the black paint on the black tyre made it hard for me to see it, that's all.
Yeah, I just think, you've probably got the Kanga paint scheme on there at the moment, do you, Benny?
Their new TD Racing scheme that they released last season.
Oh, yep, you're running that one at the moment. Yeah, I've the standard iRacing paint scheme. That's probably why it's come up at the moment. So, don't worry, viewers. Yes, we're still getting the issues ourselves. I've got generic iRacing paint schemes and trading paints, and Bernie's got the old paint scheme from last season. So, makes it interesting.
Yeah, that's right, and I'll just update the viewers new to the broadcast. We have updated our paint scheme 3 times tonight, trying to get trading paints to sync properly, but unfortunately it just doesn't seem to want to work at this stage.
Sam Sutton's got around Andrew here, but Andrew hasn't dropped off him at the moment, so he's doing a good job at the moment.
That's right, but look who's coming back to the field, and that's Gary Hamilton. He's now dropped right back, so I think he's had an issue in this lap.
Yeah, I would say so, Bernie. It's not very often you see him drop down this far, and I'm just going to see if I can see anything in the events calendar. I may not.
Well, according to my timing, he would have dropped about 5 seconds on this lap, so something's definitely happened. Maybe he's had a slowdown.
Yeah, he's had an off-track lap 11, Bernie, so I wonder if he's had a massive slowdown or a spin at some stage.
We'll just have a look at that, folks, and see if we can find out what's happened to Gary.
Definitely starting to get in the hang of this overlay sort of system, Bernie. It's a good tool to have.
Yeah, I tell you what, Gary's got to get drifting champion of the race. If you have a look at that replay, he had that all crossed up right through the dirt, and he hung on to it. So fantastic save there by Gary Hamilton.
You're just watching the replay now, Bernie, and yeah, hey, that's Rallycross if I've ever seen one, Bernie.
Definitely, I reckon Shane Van Gisbergen should contact him and get some tips on how to drift a rough.
Yeah, I reckon, Bernie, that was an amazing effort there by Gary. So he's got to put his head down and start running towards the front.
Yeah, so having a look at our top 5 at the moment, folks, we've got Christopher Osborne, Ford GT3 in first, Hannah Corby in second in another Ford GT3, Gary Hamilton now dropping quite a ways back after that big drift in the rough in third. Sam Sutton's found himself up in the 4th position now with Michael Schreier in 5th. So Michael has now overtaken Andrew Kanowski in the BMW, which is sitting back there in 6th position.
Yeah, must have got him while we were going back to what happened to Gary. So once again, he's got to hold off Lewis there, Bernie. So going to be the battle for the BMWs. These Blackadder and TD Racing are back at it again.
Yeah, and Lewis back there in 7th is looking pretty racy, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him coming up through the field very shortly.
Yeah, we know Lewis can steer this car quite well, so a very good driver, and see a little bit of paint scuff there on Andrew's car, so may have a little bit of contact earlier on. Loving the little bits and pieces that iRacing throw at us with scrapes and marks, Benny. I think it's a great job in what they do.
Definitely is, and I can't wait until they start having all these parts flying off the cars, because then they can literally start throwing things at each other.
Yeah, that's for sure, Bernie. Look, once again, it's a lot of code, and iRacing has done a great job. You've got the people that whinge about everything. You've got people that are happy with what's going on and have small complaints, and I mean, we're all wanting more out of it, and I think iRacing is doing a great job in what they're doing.
Oh, definitely. They're definitely delivered to date, and they'll continue delivering, and we know they're working on the DX11 release, which we should get later this year. So yeah, for a small company, they're definitely working very hard to make this the best sim out there.
Yeah, Benny, well, that DX11, I think there's rumours about bringing rain into the 4A as well, so that's definitely going to really mix it up and be quite interesting with these cars. Yeah,
definitely, and the other one is, of course, day-night transition, but I don't think we'll see any of that happen till next year, but it's still something very much to look forward to, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we've got a whole lot of stuff coming forward. We know that they're going to bring out the Aston Martin for GT3. We know it's not going to be the DB9. It's probably going to be the Advantage or something like that, Bernie. And they're working on the Mercedes as well for GT3. So we're getting 2 cars within 12 months. So we're getting spoiled here in GT3.
That's right, and we've got the new Formula 1 coming out probably early next year, and that's going to have DRS on it, and that's going to replace the FW31, so that's going to really help the Formula 1s come along as well.
Yeah, for sure, and with all these stuff that they're doing, we're going to get a few glitches here and there, just like tonight with our trading paints, just something that's not quite working together at the moment, but we'll know that'll get worked on, and I'm sure we'll have that update, probably in a couple of weeks, if not in a couple of days. But
well, that's right, and as you said, some people whinge about iRacing, but if you break it down, it's pretty amazing that viewers at home can be watching us streaming live with all these drivers in their own homes racing each other. And we can watch it just like a real motor race. It's pretty amazing stuff, really. Yeah,
for sure, Bernie. You're down in New South Wales. I'm here in Queensland. We've got races from all around Australia. Used to race in a series in Asia. Race everyone, Americans, everyone. we do know that some of the servers struggle a little bit, from different countries, but what a fantastic effort, and I wouldn't have it any other way, Bernie.
Yeah, me either. So while we're on iRacing, folks, if you want to try this great sim out, jump over to iRacing. They've got some really good deals out there at the moment, and sign up for a month or two and see if you like it.
Yeah, Bernie, they got a really good deal. You can get a year's subscription for $50, so you can do that up to 5 times. So, I know it's $250, but if you've got the money and you love it, that's 5 years of membership for half price. I know it's around about $100 for a full year, so you get it for half price at the moment.
Yeah, and I think they're offering existing members $49 to renew for 1 year at the moment, which is a great deal as well.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's a good sport. This enjoy it. It's really close. They're always improving it, trying to make it real life, which they do. We know big motorsports fans, drivers. We get the likes of Shane Van Giersbergen on here, so it's definitely something to be aware that it's just not a small operation. This is a big one, and everyone's enjoying it.
Yeah, that's right. And sorry, viewers out there, for being going on about iRacing, but we don't get paid to talk about this sort of stuff. We just enjoy the service. But getting back to this race at the moment, folks, we've got Christopher Osborne still out in front of Juha Hanakorpi. God, I've got to learn how to pronounce that name. In second position, Gary Hamilton still sitting down 6 seconds off the lead now, and Sam Sutton is in fourth, trying to close in, but having a bit of a tough time of it. But both of those drivers have stretched their legs and left Michael Schreier behind in fifth position. Andrew Kanowski still in sixth, and then Lewis Kugerly is in seventh position at this stage.
Yep, and we've got Timothy Schweck. He's got around the boss there. He's into eighth. Tim Bellinger is in ninth. And then we have Paul Mansell in another BMW. So there's a couple of BMWs there, Bernie, in the top 10. So they're hanging in there, doing a mighty effort here at the moment.
That's right, and back in 12th position at the moment, Adam Funslow's trying to reel Dean O'Brien in. Adam's in the rough, and we're on the roof cam now, and he's trying to claim a GT3 sculpt here.
Yeah, he started 60th there too, Bernie, so pushed his way up. He's gained 4 spots and doing a good job. You keep plugging away. There's no point trying to get 10 spots in one corner in this sort of series when you've got to run for 2.5 hours, so you just keep plugging away and picking them off one at a time when you can, so doing a great job there.
Yeah, that's right, and this team is last minute racing, and they've improved a lot over the last season, and they're really showing their form again tonight as he closes right in on Dean O'Brien through that tight turn there, and starting to put the blowtorch on him.
Certainly is. Dean's struggling a little bit there. We've seen it stepping out a little bit sideways. Once again, that the Ford GT doesn't have good traction as Adam's down the inside there and got the move done. Great driving there, Bernie.
Certainly was, and I tell you what, Adam wasn't shy in getting that rough straight up there as soon as he saw that opportunity, so that brings Adam up into 11th spot now. The next person he's after is Paul Mansell.
Yeah, and I'm sure with his lap times, he's not as quick, but he was held up there at the moment, Bernie, so it's going to be interesting when he comes around for his next lap. He was like half a second slower than Paul Mansell, but driving around Dean there at the moment, he's probably got a lot more pace than that.
Yeah, that's right, and we can see now Rod Pinder coming back through the field. Unfortunately, Rod's 1 lap down due to that rollover earlier in the race, but he's still out there giving it a good hard go, so that's good.
Yeah, it's not over. I mean, they're a lap down. Obviously, it's going to be a very hard task for those guys to get that lap back. We've seen that in previous seasons. so far this year. So they're gonna keep pushing forward, I think, Bernie, and get a few laps down. They could gain at least another position. We just don't know. So no, they do a fantastic job, and they all keep out there racing. We don't see too many retirements in this game.
No, that's right, and Adam Newton is starting to have a bit of a fight there with Aaron Pearce. That's for 14th and 13th position, so we do have a few battles up and down the field, as we always do in this great series.
Yeah, we certainly do, Bernie, and Aaron Pearce has done a good job here, Bernie. He started 17th, he's up into 13th, so he's gained a few positions here at the moment, so he's doing a good job there, keeping that BMW going.
Yeah, that's right, and what's he lapping in at the moment? 136s, and so he's pretty much lapping the same as the top 5, so we should see him come up through the field as this race progresses.
Yeah, Terry, he's moved up a few spots as well there, Bernie. They're driving the Sim 737 rough at the moment, and they're moving along. I don't have their paint scheme, but I'm sure it's a nice one, so they're doing all right. And they've got Chris Keeping behind them, which isn't that far behind as well, in another rough. Good to see the Shelbys are sticking, the Shelby.com racing guys are stuck to the roughs this season.
Yeah, that's right. They're currently down there in 17th position, and his teammate Nathan Hapatz is in the wars with quite a damaged rough there back in 20th, but he's continually, looks like he's actually had his car fixed. He's had a pit stop.
Yeah, it's got one there. He's done a 26.9, so I wonder if he's had an issue there and had to put it in. At least he hasn't gone a lap down yet, Bernie, so out there, and hopefully they've been able to change their strategy. Being at the 38-minute mark, Bernie, they may have opted to do a reverse strategy pit at the half an hour mark and do another 1 hour stint, so and swap over later to do another 1 hour.
Yeah, that definitely looks like that may be the case, and it's not, as we say, each round, it's not just the drivers out here working hard. Normally their co-drivers or team managers are on the calculators and working out all their fuel strategies as these races unfold.
Yeah, for sure, Bernie. Having a two-driver team, your second driver's there supporting you as you're driving along, working out numbers, seeing if you can stop. So it's just not one guy out there racing all the time. You definitely got someone else there sitting there. It's advantage when you're not driving, Bernie. You can go off to the toilet and have a drink and that, and come back and sit there and relax for a bit and see how your team is going. Yeah,
that's right, mate. I think the teammate or the team manager can even start setting up changes for the pits, can't they? They can, not only do the tyres and the fuel amounts, but they can also make other tweaks when the car comes into stop.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think there's a couple of little things that they can do. Obviously, once the settings, like your suspension and all that, obviously you can't change that. You can't change that while you're racing unless you want a long stop, which maybe that's something that it may happen eventually, but usually that's just track bar that we see in V8s and that, so I'm sure that's not going to come about. But no, that's you can do traction control and your brake bias setting as well, and you can do that in car while you're racing, Bernie. Yeah,
that's right. It's amazing the sort of adjustments they can make while they're driving. We've changed over to a new... as Aaron Pearce now gets a good run there on Dean O'Brien, who went off into the dirt there and gathered it up, but that's given Aaron position up to 12th position now.
Yeah, and you see him jinking around trying to break that draft as he's on the defend there, and you've seen him had to slow right down, and we've got Adam Newton as well trying to get in a position as well, Benny. It's going to be a bit tight through here.
That's right, and Dean's not going to let him through, and he takes that back, so that was good driving there by Dean. And we've got the last minute racing into the wall up there in turn 4 as well. That looks like it's Adam Funslow.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Bernie. Just that's a bad corner, Bernie. It gets you out if you're on the gas too hard. You can fry those rear tyres and it'll just spit you out. And it's not friendly when it does it either.
That's right. We'll just catch a replay of this. Yeah, and that's exactly what's happened. The back end of that car's just come around on him. Oh, I tell you what, he was lucky he didn't get collected there by the number 46 SEK Queensland rough, and he's just basically reversed that off the track to get it out of harm's way.
You notice how shallow he was getting in there. I think that has something to do with the track. If you try and get on the gas or something there, Bernie, you've got to stay out a little bit wide there to get that apex right.
Yeah, it looks to me like it may have happened under brakes, but it's definitely, the roughs definitely seem to be having a bit of an issue there sometimes with that back end of those cars under heavy braking.
Yeah, you certainly can. The biggest thing I found with the BMW coming out of there, Bernie, is power on. If you power on in the wrong spot, it can actually throw the car sideways, and you've got to be real careful through that corner.
Okay, well, I'll have to take it for another spin and see, but I'll definitely take your word for it. I just haven't had enough time in the rough lately.
Yeah, with the rough, we all know what it's like, but yeah, with the BMW, I know coming out of that corner, if you're too heavy on the gas pedal, it definitely throws it out sideways. So it's not a gentle experience coming out of that corner in the BMW.
Yeah, I'm just hoping with this latest update, we're not going to see the roughs doing that those tank slappers that we've seen happen in the past.
Yeah, it's one of those things with those rough. I haven't been in one for quite a while now, so it'll be interesting to see how well. But they seem to be driving okay, Bernie. We did see Gary before have that thing rallycross style in the kitty litter, so they must have improved the handling a lot more on that this time around.
Yeah, that's for sure, because in the old setup he would have been around and gone, wouldn't have been able to control that car the way he did tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Bernie. As my cameraman doesn't know, well, my producer doesn't know which way to keep the camera at the moment. I'm back with Christopher Osborne, and you are still sticking to him at the moment. So doing a great job, you are, with the Blackadder Motorsports Ford GT there, as I've gone back to Adam Funslow.
You'll have to fire that director you're using, because mine doesn't seem to be doing that, but at the moment we've got Christopher Osborne out in front with Juha Hanakorpi in second position, and Christopher just can't shake him. Gary Hamilton's made up a little bit of time, 5.1 seconds down the track, so he's brought that car 9/10 up on the two out front. Sam Sutton's hanging back there in another Ford GT3 in fourth position. Fifth we've got Michael Schreier in the McLaren, followed by Andrew Kanowski and Lewis Kugerly still putting the blowtorch on the back of Andrew's car. Timothy Schweck's up into 8th position now with his teammate Tim Ballinger in 9th position. And rounding out our top 10 is Paul Mansell, who's switched to a BMW this season.
Yeah, he has, Benny, and that's what I said, there's like quite a few BMWs up there too, lingering there in the bottom part of that top 10, but they're not getting put to shame. That's by no means, Bernie.
Yeah, that's right. And if we have a look at the breakdown there, from 6th all the way back to 10th is BMW land. So they've got probably 4 or 5 BMWs in the top 10.
Yeah, Bernie, which is a good effort. There was quite a few BMWs this season, but once again, they're not going to be the quickest. But I think they're probably one of the most consistent cars out there, I think, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely, and we can tell that by most of the BMWs. There's a big, you know, most of the ones that are racing are in that top 10 with a few in the top 20.
Yeah, I think we can go 6 if we go Aaron Pierce in 11th at the moment, Bernie, in a BMW as well. So those BMWs, 6 cars line astern, basically in from where do we got? 6th position.
And we've just had Sam Sutton past Gary Hamilton for 3rd position. So that's now 4 GT3s, 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah, we see here I've come back to Osborne and starting to take some traffic there, Bernie.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting now to see if Sam can try to close that gap, or if he can shake Gary. And suddenly I think Gary's not going to let him get away too far.
No, I think Gary's just going to try and save a bit of fuel. Like I said, it'd be interesting to when these GTs pit. You know, they seem to run better fuel economy for some reason. I don't know if it's the torque from the Ford, it's a lot better, or what the case is. So it's going to be interesting with the pit stops with these things.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Hayden Burns, the other Selby driver in the number 80, he's now pitted as well. So it looks like the Selby team might be trying their reverse strategy. The other person that has pitted is Jamie Peterson, but I think he had to pit because he was involved in that accident with Martin Houston at the start.
Yeah, if Edens is in the car now, they could be going for a even split, Bernie, at this time. We know they're going to go for 2.5 hours, so it's just it throws it right up there, doesn't it, Bernie? Because we know that cars usually run for an hour. And this time, you know, we've got 2.5 hours, so it's going to put a big thinking caps on here.
Yeah, that's right. I guess, you know, an hour and 53 to go. They ran that for, 40 minutes? Do another hour, and they might choose to make this a long stint and then finish it off with another 50-minute stint at the end.
Yeah, they could do, Bernie. There's so many different ways you could attack this race. So, and it's sorry about that. Yeah, it could be just one of those things that people are going to do. Once again, it's going to come down to that last pit stop before we know where everyone's going to be.
That's right. Oh, and Christopher Osborne runs into the back of a back marker, just letting him know, hey, I'm coming through, get out of my way.
Oh, geez, that car looks so loose then, Bernie.
Certainly did, but he's got through that back marker, and now we've got Sam Sutton chasing them down.
Yeah, he's got some good lap times there, Bernie. He was like half a second quicker than you are, and probably 7/10 quicker than Christopher that time around on that lap, so putting in some good lap times there at the moment.
Yeah, well, he's the fastest on the track at the moment. He did 1:36.133 compared to Christopher's 1:36.558.
Yeah, so he's definitely got the car going on old tyres. We know roughly this is when the poor old roughs were getting a little bit sad on their tyres around this time. So doing a good job there in that Ford GT at the moment.
Yeah, well, he's pulled that gap out back to Gary Hamilton. The gap's about 1.3 seconds at this stage.
Yeah, with and he's just done a 36.3, and Gary did a 37.1. So it's quite interesting to see these times at the moment. Christopher's done a 36.5, so he's found found a bit of a gap there and broke away again.
And Ewer's done a 37.2, so he's going to have to start keeping an eye on Sam Sutton, I think.
Yeah, I think this traffic's starting to get in the way here, Bernie. Unfortunately, I see Oliver Searles for the Blackadder Motorsports, that car looking very second-hand at the moment, and just waiting until they can get to their first pit stop, I think, Bernie.
Yeah, it'll definitely be nursing that car, trying to get it to that first scheduled stop, I think.
Yeah, just with Gary at the moment, you could see just see how badly damaged it is on the left-hand side. So it looks like he's clouded the wall on the left-hand side of that car. As we see, Sam's going to use the draft here of a lap car at the moment, try and break away from Gary.
Yeah, that's right. And the lapped car gets out of the way now, and Gary also takes that opportunity to jump through. I'm having a look further back, and Michael Schreier at the moment, 12 seconds down, so I think he's starting to struggle a bit with the McLaren at this stage.
Yeah, it could be just the tyres. We know how unsettled that car can get, so yeah, he's like 13 seconds. He's on his own, basically, Bernie. Gary's not that far away, though.
Yeah, he's not too far away. He's, 5-6 seconds up the road, 4.9 seconds at the moment, as we're jumping on board with Michael in the McLaren, just so the guys out there that like this car can get a bit of cockpit time as well. That almost sounded rude, but I apologise, viewers, it wasn't supposed to sound that way.
It's alright, Bernie, it's been a while since we've been on.
No, that's alright, that's what they call where the driver sits, so I feel quite vindicated in using those words.
Yeah, that's fine, I didn't see any offence whatsoever.
Tell you one thing, Michael's very strong under brakes in that McLaren.
Yeah, once again we saw that last season, so the McLaren's really good in brakes, but it's sort of still unsettling. It's sort of, yeah, it's one of those things that just on that edge, and sometimes you've got to dial it down a little bit and lose a little bit of speed to get the right comfort level out of that car.
Yeah, it's an easy car to overdrive, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, this is one of the paint jobs I've actually got on my screen tonight, and it's a very striking paint scheme in it, Bernie, so I'm actually liking that paint scheme.
Yeah, the one I'm seeing is blue and black. Is that the same one you've got?
I think it might be, Bernie, a CSR on the side of the door with the yellow wing mirror, with the wing mirrors. So I think it is actually.
Yeah, the same one. So at least we've got one paint scheme that we can both see. So that's good.
We've got something matching for a change, and we've had the Blackadder Motorsports cars. We've had them lined up as well. So we're not doing too bad. It looks like pretty well standard sort of issue going on throughout the whole iRacing fraternity, man.
Yeah, that's right. And speaking of Blackadder BMWs, it looks like Michael's about to lap one at the moment, but if he can pull him in, that is.
Yeah, it's amazing on how quick that BMW still is with that much damage on it, but doing a good job there, Oliver, just trying to keep that car around to get to its first pit stop. And you know, once again, these Blackadder boys, doesn't matter how well they're going or how badly they drive going as well, they always keep pushing in the numbers and keep doing laps.
Yeah, that's right, and it looks like we've got Mr. Ballinger down there waiting to come up for an interview for TV Racing, so we might bring him up and you can have a chat with him if you like, Adrian, while I have some coffee.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea, Benny. Evening, Tim, welcome to the RRTV commentary booth. How's the race progressing for you guys?
Yeah, now we're all going to plan. 3 cars in the top 10 at the start. We're stoked with that for the new team. It's brilliant.
Yeah, doing well. I've got new signings, which I alluded to earlier in the broadcast. I know you wouldn't have known because you were in the car, but you got the Schweck boys in with the team now?
Yeah, no, Colin sent me a message there towards the end of last season. And we got to talking, and yeah, and we're just so proud to have quality drivers like that wanting to join the team and to come on board with us. And you know, they've been a big help with setup and things like that. It's just been absolutely brilliant. And with our new sponsor, GLW Freight Management, it all looks good for the future.
Yeah, you already beat me to my next question there, Tim. I was going to say that you've got new sponsorship on the car. Unfortunately, it looks like Trading Paints isn't working great at the moment, and the paint scheme's not coming up. And we know how good the paint schemes come up on the cars. So hopefully next week we might get to see them.
Yeah, we're struggling with that our end too, mate. So yeah, not much we can do about it. I think quite a few of us are tonight. Just one of those things of Trading Paints and a hosted session, I think.
Yeah, something that we've alluded to, and I'm sure that Trading Paints and iRacing will get sorted eventually. Probably one of the new updates that they've done, and it's not working too well with everything that's going on.
Yeah, mate, just one of those things, but they'll get a hang of it, and away we'll go.
Yeah, that's it. Just a small issue that us iRacing fraternity have to complain about, which is probably minuscule out of all the fact. But so what's the plans for the your car tonight, mate?
No, we've still got one stop to go, so we'll run Pat there for a while, and yeah, when we get to that last fuel window, I'll probably jump back in and bring it home and see where we end up.
Yeah, and we see the GTs are out 1-2 at the moment. I think 3 actually. They're 1-2-3 at the moment. Looks like it might be the car to have this season, mate.
Yeah, I did some testing in it during the week, and it is quite a pleasure to drive now. So, you know, it's just one of those things, swings and roundabouts, you know, different cars, different tracks, you know. I know the BMW is well down on top speed compared to the rest of the cars, but just see how the rest of the tracks go this season, and yeah, hopefully get some that suit us.
Well, saying that, we did have 6 BMWs, or 5 or 6 BMWs from 6th to 11th there before the pit stops happening, so still holding their own, mate.
Yeah, on a track like this, they're not too bad, because with the new update, the BMW's probably got the best downforce and grips in the corner. So when we get to tracks like Daytona, we're going to get absolutely flogged, but yeah, there's not much we can do about that. But like I said, each track will be different, and hopefully each week a different car gets a chance at the front.
Yeah, cool. And we've got a little bit of different format this season. I know that Ben and I haven't touched on it yet, but we're going to have a few sprints rounds where it's an all-in event. So we're not just going to have the 3 cars. We actually, well, for your team, you're not going to have 3 cars. You're going to have 6 cars out there on the track. So that's going to be quite an interesting situation in the sprint rounds.
Yeah, it's actually quite a nice twist to have everyone out there at once. We'll just have to hope everyone plays nice, but I think you and Bernie might have your hands full on that night, but we'll see how we go. Hopefully it'll be a good one.
Yeah, I think we will be. The boys were turning on early in the start of the race, as you always do, and but kept it reasonably clean to start with, and now we're just waiting for the last of the pit stops to see where everyone comes back out. But we see you've got your friendly foe there battling with Andrew at the moment, with Lewis Kugley sitting behind him and just plugging away at it.
Yeah, mate, they'll go all right. You know, like I said, just this season, it's just great to have 2 very competitive cars at the front with Aaron and Andrew teaming up, and of course Tim and Colin, the Schweck boys, coming on board, and then you got the 2 old stooges and me and Pat down the back, and we'll just see how we go.
No, looking good, Tim. You know, with the cars and this season, and hopefully you guys prove to be another force to be reckoned with again this year. So, this season. So, no, thanks for coming up here, and I know you've already said your sponsors. I don't know if Bernie's got any questions for you as well, but thanks for coming up. Always a pleasure, mate. Any time that you want to come up and have a gas bag, you're more than welcome, obviously, and let's hope the race pans out really well for you guys for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, hopefully they make a couple of silly mistakes in my second stint like I did my first, and I'll be a lot better. But just big shout out to GLW Freight Management again, to you guys here at RRTV. Bernie, great to have you back on board, mate, and appreciate all you do, and hello to everyone watching at home.
Yeah, no worries, and congrats on the latest sign up there with the Schweck brothers. That's a very big asset for your team, so best of luck for the rest of the race, and tell them all to pop in anytime they want to have a chat.
Will do, mate. Thanks for that. Have a great call, boys.
So while we were doing that interview with Tim Ballinger, we've had Christian Challoner come into the pits. You are Hannah Corp is also pitted. Baden Reed's pitted. Sam Sutton's had a bits. Pat O'Hara. The Schweck brothers have also pitted. We've got Joseph Cardamone currently taking service as I speak. So we've had probably 2/3 of the field in, and only the top 7 at the moment have not pitted. So that is Christopher Osborne still out in the lead, 18 seconds up now on second place, Michael Schreier. Andrew Kanowski finds himself sitting in 3rd. Lewis Kugeley is in 4th and just taking service now. Paul Mansell is coming through in 5th position. 6th is Dean O'Brien, and 7th is Adam Funslow. And Braith Morrow's now just jumped into that number 67 Blackadder.
Yeah, so this is where all the cars get separated for a while, Bernie. Looks like they're all close together and pitting at the moment. We're at that hour mark, and we see that the Blackadder Ford GT is in before Christopher Osborne and Michael Schreier there at the moment with a 46 second stop. So it's going to be interesting to see when Christopher Osborne and Michael Schreier come in there, Bernie.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him as they go through this lap. You'd expect him to be coming in shortly, but he's going through once again.
Yeah, I reckon it probably got like an hour and 5 minutes in that GT, Bernie. So, he's probably got another 1 or 2 laps in him.
Yeah, possibly. He seems like the only GT3 that hasn't taken service yet, though.
Yeah, it's even surprising with that BMW there in 3rd at the moment, and 4th still out there as well.
Yeah, so having a look through the field, we've got probably 2 GT3s at the moment that haven't taken service. Let's bring up our results and have a good look at this. So, yeah, 2 GT3s haven't taken service, 3 BMWs and the McLaren. So, and another rough is now coming in to take service. That'll be Rod Pinder.
Looks like we have someone else down there in the green room, Bernie.
We certainly do. We have Oliver Searles from Blackadder Motorsports, so we'll bring Oliver up and have a chat with him. Hi Oliver, welcome to RRTV's commentary booth. We noticed earlier you were nursing that number 77 car around. Were you just waiting for trying to get it to that scheduled pit stop?
Yeah, that was exactly right. We wanted to make sure we got into the... We weren't actually that much slower. And yeah, we just wanted to make sure we got into that pit window so we didn't have to make another stop.
Yeah, so how was the car handling out there with all that damage?
Well, it looked pretty ugly, but apart from a lack of top line speed, it actually drove pretty well.
And with this new build, how are you finding the BMW as compared to last season?
To be honest, I find it's still pretty good to drive. Some of the guys in the team are trying the Ford GT, but I haven't noticed that big a difference. But to be honest, I don't drive this car a lot, Bernie, apart from like this. And I mean, this is my first time here, and apart from AEC, I don't really drive it a lot.
Yeah, fair enough. And do you think it's suffering much in top end speed compared to the Ford GT3, or is it pretty much the same as it always was?
It appears to be a bit slow, but as I said, I'm probably not the best person to talk to with that. But I mean, we seem to be a bit quicker, and if you look at the results, it still seems to be the Porsches and the Ford GTs that are at the front. But Lewis and Braith are doing a good job in the Porsche, and as I think we would have done if we didn't have that crash. So I'm not really sure. I suppose you've got to get to different tracks.
Yeah, that's right. And it looks like your teammate Gary Fishwick, I think he's new to this series. I may be mistaken, but it seems like a new name to us up here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he ran it last season. He's been in our team for a while. I know Craig did it last season. We were going to sort of split that drive between 3 of us. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he did any last season, but he's been around our team for a while.
Okay, so we've got you guys down in 21st at the moment. And I guess everything's running on schedule now that that car's fixed up.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, obviously 3 equal stops at 50 minutes. We're not going to try short filling or anything like that. I think we're too far back. I think some of the other cars may be thinking about sort of doing that. I've seen some of the other cars, I think, trying to short fill to get track position. But yeah, we just want to sort of do 3 equal stints and hope we don't have to pit again unnecessarily.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Adrian, did you have any questions for Oliver?
No, I'm good. Keeping it out there, mate. Keep trying to keep it nice and clean. Bit of a shame that you've had that issue to start with, but good to see you boys just keep plugging away at it, you know, and trying to make inroads throughout the whole race and even through last season, mate. Top effort.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So this is actually my SEK debut, and I think I made it all of, I think, the start of the start-finish line before I got taken out. So sometimes these things happen, I suppose.
Yeah, they certainly do, and it's great to see your new sponsors livery on all your cars. So before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to those guys?
Yeah, I'd obviously like to thank GP Racing Asia. They've been really good to sponsoring us, and obviously want to sort of talk about the other people on the team. You know, car number 66 is doing really well, which is Juha and Christian. They're actually, I think, in second place when I left, and obviously, yeah, Joseph and Paul doing well in the other 4 GT, and obviously Braithen Lewis in car 67, and obviously thank guys like John and stuff for helping us with building the setup and everything and for the spotting. So yeah, just hope we can get a good result.
Yeah, well, you've still got another hour and 30 minutes to go, so anything can happen in that time. So keep pushing that 77 car, and best of luck for the rest of the night.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the time.
So Adrian, at the moment, Christopher Osborne, Christopher's getting it all sideways. Great drift there, and he hung on to it. Paul Mansell hasn't pitted, and neither has Adam Funslow or Dean O'Brien in the second GT3.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with the GTs. They're definitely stretching that fuel mileage out. I wouldn't be surprised if they got to come in soon. Paul Mansell's in now, Bernie, so he definitely knows that that's it for them. Adam Funslow should be coming in soon as well, Bernie. I don't believe they've pitted yet, which probably be coming in now as I'm speaking. No, he's going straight through. So, and then obviously we've got Christian Challenger at the moment. He's the first of the guys to have pitted. So, you know, we're going to see this happen soon. I'm sure Dean O'Brien, or not Dean, yeah, Dean O'Brien will be in, which he is in now.
Yeah, Dean's just taking service now, and as we can see, Christopher Osborne, in our number 1 driver, first position, coming around now. We'll see if he takes service this time through.
Yeah, it must be getting close, Bernie. Yeah, there he goes now. So he's coming in for service. So an hour and 9 minutes, and that's even with the pace lap. So that's a long time, Bernie, in that car.
It certainly is, and if you stretch that out in the endurances, if they can get an extra 8 minutes per fill, when we get to some of these longer races, that's going to make a bit of a difference, I think.
It will, but the other thing too is, like, if you run that long, is it really that much of an advantage as your tyres are going off? I mean, you know, he was still doing 37, so it wasn't that big of a drop off, really, if you think about it. So it's just one of those things, Benny. How far, and you know, are we going to see something like the first season, someone not take tyres for a stint? You know, we've seen it tried. It doesn't always work, but some of the tracks we might see that happen.
Well, that's right, but at the moment, Brad Wooten's jumped into that car, and they're taking service now as Adam Funslow takes to the pits, which means Christian Challenger will take the lead. So maybe you're right, maybe the longer run doesn't suit, because now Brad Wooten's coming out in 4th position.
Yeah, so he's lost a lot of time there on old tyres. You know, it's a lot to be said with tyres, and we see it in a lot of forms of racing, iRacing and in the real world stuff. You know, you spend too much time on those worn tyres, you can definitely lose a lot of time to the other guys.
Yeah, so now Christian Challenger has taken the lead for Blackadder Motorsport GP Racing. So they're in first. They've got quite a nice lead now over Baden Reed, who's paired up with Gary Hamilton in second position. Sam Sutton, great job there, sitting in third position. Looks like he's going to double stint this. And, you know, he could take this right to the end because he doesn't need to swap drivers anymore with the new ruling. Brad Wooten finds himself way down in fourth position with a lot to do. Nathan Huppatz, fantastic, number 90. Selby Motorsport finds himself in fifth position, followed by Braith Morrow in sixth position. Aaron Osborne for TD Racing, seventh. Reece Goldfinch in the McLaren drops down to eighth. Ninth at the moment is Colin Schweck, and rounding out our top 10 is Pat O'Hara.
Yeah, Sam does have a co-driver there, so obviously he's going to do a double stint here. They may only do a shorter run, Bernie. We just don't know what they're doing. We know Nathan Hapat's here. He's already pitted earlier, and they've done that just purely probably because they had issues earlier on. So they're in a good position, but they may lose that later on. But having a look at those pit times, Bernie, the direct clutch car was in there for 54 seconds, whereas the leader was only in there for 46 seconds. So a bit of a time there, probably fuel, and maybe at the end here, the direct clutch boys are going to be shorter on their stop on the last one.
Yeah, that's right. I'd expect them, you know, to be out there now for at least an hour, which will give them a shorter run of 30 minutes towards the end of this race. So maybe you're right, fill it to the top now, run it as long as they can, and then short fill for the last stint.
Well, you just do the maths there. They've stopped for 54 seconds. We know that it's only going to be like 25 seconds for their last stop. So, you know, you're going to gain, you know, probably 10, maybe even 20 seconds on the guys that have got to stop again, because they're going to have to put in roughly about the same amount of fuel.
Yeah, well, they're currently sitting 12 seconds down from the leader, so they're going to, well, you know, Brad's a fast charger, so no doubt he'll get that gap back in the next hour, but they're going to need to go shorter if they want to get this lead back, if it comes down to pit strategy, that is.
Well, I think it will, Bernie. Once again, this is what I do like about this sort of series, Bernie. It throws in that element that, you know, there's so many strategies to work out, and not every one of them is right, but not every one of them is wrong either. It just comes down to the team and how well it's executed. So I just love this sort of series and the GT3s, and it's just a fantastic one to watch.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you can see how quickly it can change, you know. Just with all these pit strategies going in, we've had the field pretty much reshuffle itself again.
Yeah, we certainly have. I mean, you know, the Blackadder Motorsports car, it was in behind the TD Racing car, and it's jumped them through pit stops, and that's only just through how long they've stood still in the pit lane. It's 4 seconds, and there's a gap of 4 seconds between them, so that's roughly worked out the same. So we just see those different little pit strategies are playing into this race here.
Yeah, definitely, but at the moment Christian Challoner's got a nearly 6 second lead over Baden Reed there in second, so they're sitting fairly comfortably at the moment, but as you just said, you know, anything can happen with these strategies, so they can't get too complacent at this stage, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, you got this strategy, and now they're actually in heavy traffic. You know, you're going to have traffic throughout this race, and you know, no offence to any drivers out there, if someone makes a mistake, you know, you can get caught up in someone else's mistake, and it could ruin your race for you. So, you know, you've got a whole lot of other things in this mix as well, and that's, you know, that's what I love about this. It's true to life, and it's awesome stuff to watch and be a part of.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we've got Braith Morrow back here in sixth position, so Blackadder's doing quite well with their cars tonight, with most of them, but the team that is really doing well is TD Racing. I think they had 3 of their cars in the top 10 at one point.
Well, they do now, Bernie. We can see there easy numbers to pick for us simpletons up here in the booth. They've got the 7 numbers, so 727, 737 and the 747. So, easy numbers to pick there for us. And you can see there 7th, 9th and 10th. So, yeah, they're doing quite a good job and following up on last season.
Yeah, they certainly are, and we can see now Colin Schweck's making a move on Rhys Goldfinch's McLaren there, and he's going to have to go the long way around here, I think.
Yeah, and doing a great job, I believe Colin's only just got in recently into the thing because he was working and probably just driving the car, so doing a great job there for TD Racing.
Yeah, and he did a great job making that move, going on the outside there of Rhys Goldfinch to take 8th position.
So now we've got 7th and 8th for TD Racing and Pat O'Hara 10th. And, we've said it before, Pat's done a fantastic job in this car, and it's good to see him in a team that he's feel comfortable with and, doing a great job, I think, there, Bernie.
Oh, definitely, and Pat's been around for quite a few years in iRacing, and it's great to see him in a good team and having a good run up there in 10th position tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think this is an amazing series, Bernie. I'm so proud to be part of your commentary and just been watching this racing. It's just a privilege to sit here, and I know it's my own time to put up here, but I enjoy every minute I'm here with you and calling these races. They're just fantastic to do.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to spend the Sunday night, isn't it? And even if we are missing Formula 1 on live, we can catch it later. So if any viewers are watching it, don't send any spoilers through, please. Yeah,
poor old Bernie's hanging to watch it, and it's one of those things we'd like to see what's going on, even though wouldn't be some teams be really cranky if SEK put out some of the penalties there on the poor McLaren team. 25 positions back there, Bernie, so they have to do a 10-second stop and go in their first pit stop.
Oh, don't get me started on the way Formula 1 dishes out penalties. I think it's absolutely ridiculous how they can triple penalise those drivers. See, now you got me started.
At least I got you worked up, Bernie. It's good we can concentrate on this and we can finish the end. We've gone through half this, more than half this race at the moment. So we'll get there now, Bernie.
Yeah, so we've got Christian Challoner at the moment in the lead in that number 78 Blackadder GT3, and he's coming up to traffic now, so that may slow him down a bit. I tell you what, even the back markers aren't slow by any means, as he's trying to round up this rough right in front of him.
No, and it's hard. I think you've got definitely places to overtake, but I think it's very deceiving, this track, right from where you can overtake. There's not too many spots you can really do it comfortably or confidently, I think, Bernie.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of the track is one line, really, and it's just the way that track flows.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, obviously we see there going into turn 1 you can get a move done, but once you get through there it's really tight through here. You've got to be really on your game to get an overtaking move done through there, and then coming up through here, there's possibility of getting past someone, but once again it's so tight. If someone makes a small mistake, you're into the fence there.
Yeah, well, that's right, and it's the way this track flows. It's so high speed and it's got so many changes of direction that there's not a lot of places they can overtake in those fast sections. So as a driver trying to lap traffic, you just have to be extremely patient, knowing that the other guys are going to have the same issues when they come up to lap traffic.
Yeah, and that's it. And you hope that they do get stuck behind the lap traffic in some situations, but it's one of those things. I mean, we're all racers. We know we want to get a bit of break. We don't want to have someone breathing down our neck. Whether we want to believe it or not, we do always look in that mirror, and that can put you off a bit. Some a little bit more prone to it than the others, which we see. But it's good racing. The boys are doing a fantastic job out there, Ben.
Oh yeah, it's been quite a clean race too, apart from the odd incident or that incident at the start. The rest of it's been pretty smooth, but at the moment we've got in our top 5 folks, we've got Christian Challoner leading the way, a gap of 5.4 seconds over Baden Reed in second spot. Sam Sutton starting to close in now on Baden, and he's in third, followed by Brad Wooten, who's 7 seconds down, or 14 seconds off the lead now, so he's dropped 2 seconds this stint. And Nathan Hapatz rounds out our top 5.
Yeah, look, I know Brad, and generally I can tell with Chris when he's out there racing, when he's trying to lay down some quick times or just backing off the car and not putting down too many quick lap times. But Brad's putting in 136s, so it wouldn't be surprised, Benny, that he's trying to save a bit of fuel in this stint. Being that far behind, the guys are definitely pushing at the moment. He's only half a second off the quick boys at the moment, so saving a bit of fuel, Bernie, is not a bad idea. They could save enough where they're going to even be shorter in their pit stop.
Well, that's right. We don't exactly know what they're doing there, and only time will tell, but still sitting in the top 5. They're doing a good job there, and we'll see how they go. But we just had a look at Joseph Cardamone back here in 17th take Hayden Burns, and I tell you what, he definitely showed Hayden the short back and sides through that corner back there.
Yeah, he's definitely on the money there, isn't he? And Hayden is still learning the ropes, as he said last season, and hopefully he's moving forward through this season, and I'd like to see those guys go probably a little bit better this season in the rough. I mean, they've had it a little bit hard, and they've had work commitments as well, as obviously doesn't make it easy for that team, but they'll get there. We know they will, and probably something that if they can sort of align themselves with another team to help them progress, it might help them.
Yeah, that's right. It's no doubt they're getting that data off the number 90 as well, and they're up in 5th, so they're definitely got a little ways to improve, but they're improving every race, so it won't be long till we see them up there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, we know they struggle with their schedule. We know that a couple of them work stupidly. They've got to travel and don't get the time that they need in there. So, that does hinder a little bit with the team, moving forward. But, they're solid. They're in here. It's good they were only a one-car team. I remember at the beginning of the year, Bernie, and ended up getting someone in and turned it into a two-car team. So, that's a good thing for those guys.
Oh, definitely. And it's another small team there that's improving all the time, and it's great to see, these smaller teams building up, becoming teams to be contended with, I guess, or contend with, and just adds to the flavour of this great sport of ours.
Yeah, it certainly does, and I know probably with the next build we are anticipating the new car arrival with the next build, and I'm sure we're going to see a few of those in next. Oh, as we're watching here with Damien Carr at the moment, and George. No, it's not George. Sorry, it's Rod Pinder. Is it or his teammate Guy Leach? They're having a bit of a run there. Guy's trying to get a lap back there on Damien at the moment.
Yeah, no, that is George in behind the wheel there. He was teamed up with Rod Pinder.
Okay, just might have been my mistake there, as we do happen sometimes.
Yeah, so George is actually up in... oh no, sorry. You were right. I was wrong. So that is Guy Leach there, one lap down.
Yeah, just trying to... unfortunately, they had an incident in the beginning there, Bernie, and we know that car's got pace. I mean, we saw Rod. He's the one that nearly flipped it there earlier on, and it's a shame that happened. And they've got some pace in that car. He's just trying to prove it and try and move his way forward.
Yeah, that's right, as he starts now to look on the back of that BMW, and it'll be interesting to see if the BMW steps aside and just lets him on through.
Yeah, I can't see it happening. I'm not being nasty, but they're going, well, I don't need to let you through because, you're a lap down. But in my view, Bernie, if I've got a car there hassling me, I want them to go and get them off of my rear end so I can concentrate on the car in front of me, which is actually for position. So you're better off letting them go and try and chase them down that way, and hopefully they open the door for you for the next position.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'd do too. Let him through, tuck in behind him, and hope that he can push Pat sideways so I can get a position back.
Yeah, and that's just a little bit of racecraft, isn't it, Bernie? Just to help you through to a next position.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But I tell you what, guys doing a good job out there, as they always do. That car's definitely not slow, that's for sure. No,
I mean, once again, had a little issue there at the beginning of the race, and it's such a shame for those guys. We know they're doing all right, and geez, Pat went a bit wide there. The door, was a bit open there, so Damien closed in, but all the while, Guy is there trying to get his way through.
Yeah, that's right, and I think Guy's just got to give these guys a bit of room and let them fight this position out, because especially if he's a lap down, but I can't see that happening as he's tucking right in now on Damien again, showing that he wants to get through.
Yeah, he's got the pace, doesn't he? He's definitely got the pace here on Damien at the moment, and it's it's one of those things. He's pushing Damien closer and closer to Pat, so we'll see what happens here. And damn, I've got to change that. Sorry, Bernie, cameraman decided to change drivers.
Oh, that's all right. I'll tell you what, guys, ducking left and right here, and as we have the number 72 Rough limping back there, looks like he's hit the fence, but Guy's doing everything he can to get through Damien here, but Damien's fighting Pat for position, so he doesn't have to let him through by any means. And I know if this was reversed, I'm sure the SEK boys probably would not let Damien through if they were a lap down.
No, well, that's it. We know Damien doesn't have to let him through. That's his prerogative. He is the lead driver there out of those two. Pat takes a very wide turn in there, doesn't he? Really makes it look like the door's wide open, and unless Damien's taken a shorter line to stop Guy trying to go underneath him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've noticed Pat does definitely brake very late through there, which does seem to push him out a little bit there. But I tell you what, Guy's going really hard on the back of Damien here.
Has he got that done now, Bernie? On the inside, this is going to be interesting. Oh, it's really tight through there. Oh.
I tell you what, the way these guys are going at it, you'd think this is for position. It's just, really, really hard driving at this stage of the race.
It certainly is, Bernie, but what a spectacle it is just watching these guys go for it, and what a great drive there by Guy, just hammering away there, pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's just that move just shows you how much gap you've lost. So like I said, Bernie, I think it would have been more prudent just to try and let Guy through at the end of the straight there, going into turn one. Let him take that corner, get right underneath his bumper and follow him through until he catches up to Pat.
That's right, and for all those laps, those two were racing that closely. I don't think there was one contact between those two cars, and that really shows the high level of driving Guy Leach and Damien Carr are showing out there tonight.
Yeah, no, again, we know how good Guy is. He's a good driver, and he puts in a lot of effort into his racing here on here. So he does a fantastic job as he's now closed right up on the back of Pat here.
Yeah, that's right, and you'll be now looking at how he gets past Pat. Pat's got a bit of a gap here, so he could probably afford to. Oh, has he gone wide there to let him through? He has, so he's just stepped aside, let him through, and he's still got a bit of a gap back there, back to Damien.
Yeah, he hasn't lost a great deal of speed there, has he, Bernie? He did go out a little bit wide, be a little bit too much there, and did scrub off a bit of speed. But you know, Pat there, sensible, let Guy through. He knew Guy was quicker, and you know, why fight someone that you don't need to? And especially with an hour to go. So and it was a lap down. All he's doing is getting his lap back off of you, but doesn't mean to say he'll get it, take you for position later on.
I'll tell you what, there's a great battle back here for 12th, 13th and 14th between Peter Genovitz, Brett Garitas and Dylan Shepherd at the moment.
Yeah, so we got two Fords here at the moment, and we got the rough with Nick Rainbird at the helm now. So yeah, quite interesting, isn't it, Bernie?
It certainly is, and it's great to see Dylan in this series and given the Ford GT3 a go as he stretches the legs of that car, and he's just getting a bit of a gap now over Brett Garitas, and Nick Rainbird starting to tap on the back of Brett's car there, not literally, figuratively.
Yeah, so a change of car there for Brett and Gavin's season. We know Gavin's actually stepped away from a little bit of the admin work here through this series, so just becoming a race car driver, and you know, that's probably taken a lot of pressure off him for this season, and probably going to enjoy his racing this season, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely, and Gavin's done so much over the years for this series. It's great to see him getting that break where he can just enjoy his racing, and I think George Fullerton's taken over a lot of the running of this series this season.
Yeah, he has, in all shapes and forms. George has always been there as well. We can't take that away from George. As we see here, Nick's having a look here at Brett at the moment. They're in through this hairpin. Brett's a little bit wide, and Nick's got that done, Bernie. That's pretty good racing there, right there.
Oh, definitely, and you know, that's another good team that's coming up through the ranks is this last-minute racing. You know, with Nick Rainbird behind the wheel at the moment, these guys are really coming on leaps and bounds each season, and hopefully we'll see those guys. I guess they're running in 14th, so that's pretty good out of a field of 27 tonight.
I think a lot of these guys are running, you know, we definitely do have class acts out here, obviously, and they're the guys that everyone wants to reach for to most of the extent, but you know, there's good drivers throughout the field. They have their own strengths and weaknesses. We see here in team racing, you know, you're always going to get an ebb and flow throughout the race, so it's pretty good to watch, I reckon, Betty.
Yeah, definitely, and jumping up the front, folks, we've got Sam Sutton now in second, Baden Reed right behind him now in third position. Having a look at fourth, Brad Wooten's 20 seconds down off the leader at the moment, and 10 seconds behind Baden Reed. So, but there's a bit of a race going on here between Sam and Baden as well. So there's good battles throughout the field, and we'll try and bring them to you as we find them.
Yeah, I remember when Brad was like 15 seconds behind there at one stage, Bernie, but he's brought that down to 10 seconds, and he's still pumping out those 1:36.6s at the moment. So, you know, he's at a steady pace. So he's not slow, but he's not overdriving the car either. So he's running at a nice steady pace, and I reckon, look, I reckon that he's going to be in here for a certain amount of time, and I reckon Chris is going to take the car home here. Yeah,
well, we know with Chris and Brad in the Direct Clutch Services team, they're very, very good with strategy, and none of this would be phasing them at the moment. no doubt they've got a long-term plan for this race, and we'll see that unfold as the next pit stops go through.
Yeah, for sure, Bernie. And look, like I said, I think they've got at least a 10-second gain here with their next stop in just a quick mass I've worked out. So that 10 seconds that they're behind at the moment, it's definitely going to put them up near the pointy end again. So, you know, if their stop is even more than 10 seconds less than everyone else, they're going to be in the lead of this race.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that unfolds. I'm not that good with maths, so I'm just taking your word for it there. But Nick Rainbird looks like he's made a move on Brett Garidas now and has moved up into that 12th position.
And it looks like we've got the boss of TD Racing jumping in back in the car there, Bernie. So it looks like they have just done their last stop of the race.
Yeah, so with an hour and 4 to go, it looks like Tim's going to bring that 727 home. And where are they sitting at the moment? 19th and 1 lap down, but that's mainly because they've taken that second stop.
Yeah, they'll be that 1 lap down because of that stop, not generally because they're that slow. It's just, yeah, that they've taken their stop and ready to race that car home.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, all this will... it'll all wash out, so to speak, once all the field takes their second stop at this stage.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've got telemetry here telling me some guys have taken the 2 stops. We've even got 3, but you know, those ones are usually had a few incidences, so we're not 100% sure where they are actually on track until, you know, we've had those final stops, which are anywhere from now until half an hour to go, Penny.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And just having a look at our top 5, folks, it's still Christian Challoner at the moment with a 10-second lead over Sam Sutton in second. Baden Reed's just behind Sam now, battling it out for that position. And 9 seconds down from these guys is Brad Wooten in the number 1 Ford GT3. Braith Morrow has taken the wheel of this car for Blackadder, and they're currently in 5th in the number 67. Aaron Osborne in the 737 is in 6th, 7th Colin Schweck, their new teammate, and 8th is Damien Carr, followed in 9th by George Fullerton. And rounding out our top 10 and battling for position is Peter Jezinovics. So yeah, George and Peter at the moment are having a little bit of a battle there for 9th and 10th, Adrian.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, it didn't look much on the screen on my telemetry there, being 0.6, 0.7, but on screen it's certainly quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, and Peter's doing a good job out there as he's closing in on the back of George, so we'll see how that unfolds at the moment. But up front here, Baden is still trying to pull Sam Sutton in, and he's just hanging in there. He just can't seem to bridge that gap.
Well, he's definitely in the draft there, Bernie. He's in the draft, but once again, you know, that Ford GT is pretty potent in a straight line, so any draft that you do get, you're going to lose because that GT is just so phenomenally quick in a straight line.
Oh yeah, it's got a huge motor in under that bonnet. I'm not sure if do they run a V8 in that thing, or do you know what sort of engine's in that?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it's the V8 there, Bernie. I haven't gone through the whole stats on that car, but I do believe it's the V8. When you jump in there, it's still got that nice V8 sound, so definitely certain it's a V8 in there.
We'll do a bit of a comparison here. We're in the rough now, and once they rev up, we'll jump straight into the Ford GT3 and listen to the difference, I guess. I
should have checked on the whole speed thing with them coming down the straightaway, which they are now, to just double check the difference in speed. Baden definitely had a bit more top end speed there, and that would have been the draft. So yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it, Bernie?
Yeah, it certainly is. What sort of a speed are they reaching down that front straight?
Well, I saw Baden's car get up to 250, and Sam's was doing a 245, I think it was. So he gained about 5 k's an hour in his draft.
Okay, and the gap there at the moment is 9/10 of a second, just about 1 second at the moment, that gap. So it's pretty much been like that now for at least the last 10 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, it's just interesting where once they get through turn 1, Sam seems to get the drive through the tight section, which is just a bit strange for me. Like, I know the GT is quite quick in a straight line, but looks like these guys have got it handling quite well in the tight section at the moment, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly does. And jumping back here for 10th position, Peter is now starting to close in on the back of George. So this battle is starting to heat up now.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we'll see how well this goes. And like I said, we know we've still got a few more pit stops to go, so it's going to be interesting to see where everyone pans out, isn't it?
It certainly is, and we're into the 58 minutes to go now, so no doubt we'll see these guys starting to pit in the next 3, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, and this is actually for position 2 here at the moment. Bernie, Damien Carr, George Fullerton and Peter as well. So I don't know what happened there with Damien. It's he got caught up to by these guys quite rapidly then.
Yeah, he certainly did. So battle pack of 3 has developed, and Damien's definitely struggling there as George puts the blowtorch on him. Oh, that's Peter actually putting the blowtorch on him, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, Peter's putting it on George, and George is putting on Damien. So I don't know what happened here to Damien. I was just going back a little bit, Bernie, and seeing what happened to him. Just doesn't seem to have got the pace on at the moment.
No, he's definitely, that car's definitely handling poorly through those corners, so it could be tyres or something like that that he's having a problem with. He's definitely got enough top end speed, so I think it's definitely a handling issue that Damien's struggling with at the moment.
Yeah, just struggling to get out of some of those corners, and it's hindering him to keep that gap in it. Like, he's a bit slow coming through this section now, so just going in the hairpin there too, just a little bit slower than the other two.
Yeah, he's definitely harder on the brakes at the moment, so he's got to wash off a bit of that speed, I think, to get that car through, which is allowing George and Peter there to close up on him.
So this is a nice Quoros battle at the moment, Bernie. I can't see too many more developing other than... oh, we've got Braith Morrow here. He's... Oh, that's a change of position there, Bernie. Aaron Osborne's gone around Braith Morrow.
So that'll move Aaron up into 5th position now, with Braith back to 6th.
Yeah, so I was reading that the other way around. I thought we had a really close one there with Braith and Aaron was catching him, but it's the other way around. Aaron's been doing the job and got through and got around Braith, so doing a good job out there.
Yeah, fantastic. And it looks like we've got Nathan Hapats for Selby Racing waiting for an interview, so it must be your turn to do the interview, isn't it?
Oh, I think so, Benny. Hello Nathan, welcome to the RRTV commentary booth. How's the race progressing for you guys at the moment? I believe you just you were in the top 5 there a moment ago. I believe you might have had another pit stop.
Yeah, how's it going, guys? Hope you enjoyed the little break between these series. We had, unfortunately I was following a couple guys and early in the race, and they had a coming together, and I accidentally shunted someone from behind, so that killed our top speed, and we did a few quick numbers on the calculator and thought we'll take an early pit. And Sean's in fuel map 2 now, so we're out of sync, but we can make it to the end from here. So looks like a couple of guys in front of us are going to have to pit again, so we might pick up a few more spots here, which is a good recovery from starting in 14th and having to pit early.
Yeah, it certainly is. We did notice the car had quite a lot of damage there early on, and it looked like the car was handling okay, but like you said, just lost that top end speed. All the aero had gone off that car.
Yeah, it was horrible. I was just getting passed down the straight. It understeered a little bit more than normal, but apart from that, it was okay. And yeah, it's just one of those things. The guys in front of us were battling, and normally, I don't know, normally there might have been milder contact between them, but they stopped really suddenly, and even though I had a bit of a gap, I just couldn't stop in time and rear-ended them. But Sean's driving well and putting in some good times here on a fuel map to save some fuel, and hopefully we'll get a half decent start to the year. It'll be good in the Porsche.
Yeah, we see that you stuck with it. Any reasoning that you've decided to stay with the rough?
We had a fair bit of discussion about it, and we tried all the cars, like I presume many other teams did as well. I think I went to Phillip Island with base setups, and I tried 3, the rough, the GT3, Ford, and the Z4, and I was doing the same lap times pretty much in all of them. So we just thought, look, for this season we're learning, we're getting the most out of the Porsche, we think. Now we're just sort of tweaking it a bit to try and get up in that sort of top 5, but when I was in 5th position before, we had really good pace. So I think we understand the Porsche and how to set it up, and it was going to be a pretty big learning curve to go with another car, and we considered running 2 different cars, but as a group we thought, look, we're going to get the best out of ourselves if we can all focus on the one car. And so we thought this season we'll stick with the Porsche, but we might do a bit of practicing here and there in some of the other cars and get familiar with them as well.
Yeah, cool. Is there any thought of trainers trying to get aboard with probably another small team or anyone else that's running the rough this season, just to try and work on setups to try and get both sort of teams up towards the front a little bit more, mate?
Look, I mean, we'd be open to something like that. We're happy with the guys that we've got. We get on well and we work together well, and we've got the 2 cars at the moment. And if there was another privateer or single car team that was interested in sharing some data and knowledge and setups and wanted to join the Selby team, for example, then yeah, we'd certainly be open to chatting about stuff like that.
Yeah, well, Bernie and I were talking earlier. We know that you guys sometimes have crazy schedules, and unfortunately you can't spend as much time as you like to get these cars set up. So just something that you'd like to try and do is get on board with someone else to try and help you with that. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been lucky because we've had a couple of guys. Rhett Woods is one of them who's been around and about every now and again when we need a bit of a hand, and we'll pop in and help with setups here and there. And maybe Sean and I, with our businesses, we have a bit of travel and a few other commitments every now and again. So sometimes it's hard to scratch together a team. But if it wasn't for that, we'd probably be taking it a little bit more seriously. But because we have to skip a few races here and there, then we're trying to be competitive, obviously, but just having a good time as well, and just trying to drive nice and clean.
Yeah, great. And oh, geez, I did have a question right on my top of the tongue there, and I forgot about it. But no, you guys are doing really well. Good to see that the car's out there. At least we got the paint scheme running. I've got your paint scheme. I'm sure Bernie has got it there as well. I mean, it's one that you've had since last season. Still a good looking paint scheme.
Yeah, we got an update coming, so stay tuned in the next week or 2. We'll have a bit of a freshen up for that. But it's served us well, the paint scheme, and it shows off the Selby brand nicely, so we'll keep running with that.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to pass you over to Bernie because I've just lost for my question, and it's really rattled me at the moment. So Bernie might have a few questions for you, Nathan.
Yeah, I don't have too many for you at the moment, Nathan. It's looking good for the number 90 out there at the moment in 13th, and the number 80's down in 21st. So, did they? Do you know if the number 80 had any issues earlier on in this race?
Yeah, I believe there might have been an accident which has caused an early pit stop, so that's compromised their strategy as well. So I think we've ended up on pretty much the same strategy. I think they're probably saving fuel at the moment, and it looks like they should be able to get home along with us. So hoping a few people in front of them have to pit and they get a few more spots.
Yeah, well, the pit stops are definitely started now. So before we let you go, Nathan, we'll let you give a shout out to your sponsors.
Yeah, look, big shout out to Sean's business, selby.com.au. He helps us out with some gear and cables and computer stuff and simulator gear I bought from Sean as well. So yeah, big shout out to Sean, and a shout out to the guys as well who've been testing a lot of different cars in the last few weeks and putting in a lot of work, especially on a new track that we don't know. So yeah, big shout out to the team.
Fantastic. Well, we'll let you go, Nathan, because it's all heating up now in the pits, and best of luck for the rest of the race.
Cheers, thanks guys, and good call as usual. Thanks for getting involved in this season.
So that was Nathan Hapatz from Selby Racing. So to give you guys a bit of an update out there, we've got Brad Wooten has taken the lead now as the field starts to pit, followed by Colin Schweck. Sam Sutton has just gone through on Colin as we jump to them 4 positions. So Sam Sutton's still in 2nd position. 3rd is Colin Schweck. Ewa is back in the car for Blackadder Motorsport in the GT3. They've had their final pit stop, as has Gary Hamilton, who's back in the wheel of the 111 car. Damien Carr at the moment still hasn't taken that pit stop, and in 7th at the moment Dylan Shepherd is currently trying to make a move on Damien. Oh, and he's taken Damien out completely. He's totally rear-ended him there.
Yeah, I just caught the back of that. That's not going to be good for post-race there, Bernie. I'm sure the stewards will see that, and I'm sure a few boys are a little saying a few explicit words back there in the team.
Yeah, I bet. We're just jumping on the replay here just to get a better view of that, but definitely it shows how slippery this Ford GT3 is, as it just picks that BMW up and throws it pretty much.
I'm going to be lazy, Bernie. I'm going to check your replay out, so I'm going to be a little bit behind you.
Yeah, no worries. He's just run straight up the back of him there and served him a huge serving there, and lifted the back of that BMW up, and it kept on going. Tell you what, Damien's going to be absolutely spewing over that at the end of this race, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, it just looked like Damien got a little bit loose too in that middle of the apex, which probably didn't help this situation there, Bernie.
No, it wouldn't have helped the situation at all, but that hit was pretty hefty, as I must say. But looking at the lead at the moment, with Brad Wooten taking the lead back now, the guys are pitted. Sam Sutton's 41 seconds behind Brad at the moment, and Sam has taken that pit stop. And then Ewa is 3 seconds down from Sam, so he's also taken that stop. So really at the moment Brad's finding himself with a 40-second gap, so this is when the strategy starts to unfold.
Yeah, it certainly is, Benny, and like I said, I'm going to be really interested in see how well it plays out. Brad didn't have a fantastic lap time that time around. He had a 37.2, which is quite slow, and we can see Sam, he's done a 35.9. I believe he's taken his pit stop, so he's out there in 2nd place, and Yuha is done a 35.7, so there must have been a skip there in the pit lane there, Bernie.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We were doing the interview when they did pit, but at the moment Brad depends how long they're going to do for the pits, but I think even if they short fill, it's going to be pretty close between Sam Sutton and Ewer and Brad Wooten at this point.
Yeah, I think so, Bernie. It's going to be close near the end here. I'm not sure if this is going to work out if they stay out there too long. They really need to bring this car in and get their pit stop done, because the longer they leave it out there, the more it's going to hurt them, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to see what the gap is now for Sam. We're looking at 37-second gap at the moment, 37.9. Looking at the times. So Sam Sutton did a 1:35, where Brad Wooten's sitting back in that 1:37. So they're losing over 2.2 seconds a lap. That lap passed.
Yeah, and that's got a bit too, Bernie. 2 seconds a lap. You can't afford too many laps like that. You know, like 10 laps. That's 20 seconds. So he'll be going down to only a 17-second a lead there, and by the time you trundle through the pits and that, you're going to lose all of that. So it's not ideal staying out here for too much longer, Bernie.
No, well, we've got 45 minutes to go, so I think I'm with you there. I'd probably get Brad in as soon as we can, throw Christopher in the car, short fill it, and get out of there as quickly as they can.
Yeah, I think that's the best way. We know Chris is quick, but to lose a lot of time, I don't think it's going to be worthwhile. But hey, look, we've been proven wrong before too, Bernie.
Oh, that's for sure, and we'll be proven wrong again, I'm sure. But that time passed. Brad did a 1:36.285, and he's got a 37.3 second gap. But all of the time, Sam's closing in on him.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad that time, but that because I believe the traffic has Brad's gone around that McLaren, the lonely old McLaren out there, and poor old McLaren's there has gone a lap down, Bernie. So a bit of a hard race now for him.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Sam took 0.8 of a second off Brad Wooten that time round, so it's not too bad. Ewer Hanakopi at the moment is 4 seconds down, and he's also taking time out of Brad Wooten.
Yeah, we know Yuha's quite quick, so once again my overlays aren't working too well, so I'm missing out some of these lap times. Might have to quickly go to the iRacing one.
And looking further back, folks, this battle for 5th, 6th and 7th is continuing, and that's between Dylan Shepherd, Andrew Kanowski and Nick Rainbird. Even Lewis Kugel's now starting to get on the back of this train.
Yeah, so overtaking move there by Aaron has worked out well for the TD Racing. Andrew's got kept in front of the Blackadder Motorsports, and we notice Nick Rainbird's up here in the mix at the moment, but do they need to make another stop, Bernie?
Yes, they do. The people that still need to stop are Brad Wooten, Dylan Shepherd, Nick Rainbird, Lewis Kugeli, Colin Schweck, and I think Andrew's made that stop, so he's going to pretty much bring that car home.
Yeah, so Andrew's in there for the rest of the race, and see how he's doing. He's got a little bit of lap traffic there he's dealing with, so it's making it a little bit hard to get some decent lap times out at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. We'll bring Christian Challoner up for a bit of a chat before we get to the business end of this race. Hi Christian, welcome to RRTV's commentary box. Well done there. Your car, the number 18 Ford GT3, sitting in 3rd position at the moment. How are you adapting to that car?
Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, it's been pretty seamless actually, to be honest. We were looking at changing to a new car at the start of the week, and we did a bit of running, and I think as a whole most of the team actually preferred driving the Ford, and not really necessarily just in terms of pace, because it probably is a little bit quicker in honesty, but we were just more comfortable with it. I know me specifically, and I think John was the same, we were complaining about a lack of feel from the front end of the BMW since it was updated, and so we gave the Ford a try, and yeah, it's working out pretty well for us.
Yeah, it certainly is. At one point you were leading, you're back at third now. Brad Wooten has a 40-second gap on you at the moment, but he has to pit. So are you expecting to be able to jump him when they do come into that stop?
Yeah, we're pretty hopeful that we should jump Brad. The one we're really concerned about, to be honest, is the 147. That's shown some pretty good pace, and we were actually surprised to see it come out of the pits ahead of us. To be honest, we thought we would have had them covered off, but I think that little mistake I made probably actually cost us that. So.
Yeah, and the other one you should keep an eye on is Gary Hamilton right behind you. He's just set the fastest lap of a 1:35.3, so he's 3 seconds down from you guys at the moment.
Yeah, he's closed us up a little bit, I noticed, but I think in the first stint Yuha could keep him behind, so hopefully we can hold on to that.
Yeah, so with 40 minutes to go, looking at Sam's pace and Yua's pace, do you think you guys can actually catch him at this stage?
It's hard to say, to be honest. I think on pace we're probably very similar. So it's going to take either. I mean, Sam's been driving the whole race, and I've done that before, and I know it does get you pretty tired by the end. So we pretty much need something, I think, to get back up there with him. I mean, at the minute we're behind four lapped cars here, and it's going to take us a while to clear because they're all battling.
Yeah, that's right. As we can see now, Yua's got around one, and he's starting to work on the other two now. And looking at the Ford GT3, how does this car go with tyres over the longest stint?
It's pretty good, to be honest. I think what you find is that at the start it's particularly fast. In the middle it tails off a little bit, but then it comes back towards the end of the stint. So I think I sort of did a similar thing, where I was turning pretty quick times at the end, not quite on par with my fastest at the start, but in the middle is the hardest part really. It's pretty kind on the tyres actually. Better than the BMW, I think.
Okay, fantastic. And Adrian, do you have any questions for Christian while we've got him up here?
Yeah, Christian, seen you in the Ford GT and Lewis is in the BMW, doing a good job there in the BMW at the moment. So been going well there for those boys at the moment.
Yeah, those guys are making the BMW work for them. It was pretty much a preference by both Braith and Lewis that they would like to continue with that car. So that's why we split the.
Sorry guys, I might have just dropped Christian there. I didn't get to hear the end of that answer to that.
Sorry guys, I was just saying that in terms of splitting the entry, we think it gives us a better chance to gain data for season 4 and for the Blank Pan Enduro.
Yeah, the other thing too, you know, if you guys are preferring the Ford GT, you obviously come into these sprint rounds, which I covered off with another team there. You're not just going to have the standard sprint rounds coming up. It's an all-in event. So you guys, I believe, have got four cars in this series. So you're going to have 8 Blackadder Motorsports cars out there. So four Ford GTs and 4 BMWs out there, so that's going to be a big field to contend with later on this year.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how those work, because I think we're gonna have capacity grids certainly, and maybe even slightly over. I don't know how many cars are registered this week. I think it's just about 27 or something like that.
Yeah, I think there was 27 all up, but we only had 25 take to the field. But like you said, 27 were already taken up. So, that's 54 cars for these grids. I think Daytona is one of the tracks that they're going to use for the big field.
Yeah, I know that Spa is certainly on the list. I think Daytona's on the list, but if Daytona is, that's pretty good. I really like that track. I go pretty well there.
Yeah, and the Fords are going to probably be fairly strong there too with Daytona. Those nice big long straightaways, they'll definitely get that speed out of those cars.
Yeah, I would hope so. That was actually something we talked about, where we were saying that traditionally the Ford's not been particularly strong on tracks like this. It's been much better at places like Watkins and Daytona, where it can stretch its legs. So it looks good, we think.
Yeah, it definitely has improved the package overall, hasn't it? This tyre model has suited the GT, and obviously they've probably tweaked the GT as well. I haven't checked the information. As we see there, Gary's actually starting to attack here on Yuha, so we might quickly wrap this up for you and get back to coach your driver on.
Yeah, I just spotted that. No worries.
But yeah, so it should be interesting with those big ones, and obviously Benny and I will discuss that later on throughout through the series. I'm not sure when it starts. I'll have to check on that, but doing a great job there in the Ford GT. It's good to see it on. I know Bernie and I have been wanting this thing to come along, and it looks like it has. And all the best, and big shout out to your sponsors before we let you go, and everyone else in the background, mate, before we let you go.
Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, big shout out to GP Racing. I think our paints are actually working this week, so you can actually see them. And I think Nanad's done a pretty good job on those. They look pretty awesome. John for pretty much organising all of this, and everyone who's worked on setups. I know Oliver came up and gave shout outs earlier, and I always miss people, so hopefully he's already done that. One other thing I would like to say is I know we've never really spoken actually about that. If anyone actually does want to come and race with us, all you got to do is come onto our forum, join up, have a conversation. We're not really fussed about how fast you are. We're just if you want to work on setups and whatever, and as long as you race clean, we're pretty much happy to take anyone really. So if anyone's interested, come and have a look.
Yeah, definitely, and I can't think of a better team for people to join up with either, Christian. So if anyone is out there interested, definitely check out Blackadder and join up and give it a go. So anyway, Christian, we should let you go. It looks like you was having quite a battle here with Gary, and you might want to go and calm him down a bit.
Okay, thanks guys.
Not that I think Ewa will need much calming down. It looks like he's got this under control at this stage of the race. But having a look now, Christopher Osborne has jumped back into the car just now from Brad Wooten, and they're back in 4th position now, some 20 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, and it was a shorter fill there, Bernie, but once again, I think Bernie, they could have swapped that around because they just lost too much time there from those newer tyres coming on strong. So just hasn't quite worked out, and they've got a little bit of work to do, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. They did do a short fill. Their stop was only 33 seconds compared to the leaders 38, 47 and 41 respectively. But at the moment they've got 12 seconds to catch on Gary Hamilton, which isn't impossible, because while you and Gary continue to battle this out, it's going to allow Christopher to close up on them.
Oh yeah, for sure, and you can see here we've got an Elements Motorsports car in front here, so obviously they're not going to make it too easy if all these cars are battling, and Yuha's struggling here to try and get around them.
Yeah, he certainly is, and it's really tough because he's got to try to get through these guys, and they're not stepping aside. as well as holding Gary out, so he's definitely got his hands full at the moment.
Yeah, and the other thing that to the viewers there, we had someone let us know that the rough is sort of getting really understeery, or the front tyres just, it says it's understeers worse as the stint goes on, so really struggling there at the moment with the elements rough at the bone at the end of the stint.
Yeah, well, the rough has always been tight, but I guess I'll have to go and give it a spin and take it for a longer stint to see exactly what it does. But if that's the case, Gary's definitely taken this rough by the horns, that's for sure.
Yeah, he certainly does, and we see that through last season how aggressive he can be with that car, and we even saw earlier on in this race where he got a little bit crossed up and ended up taking it for a rallycross drive. So he's definitely no slouch in that car.
Yeah, that's for sure, and we're just riding on the nose of Gary Hamilton here, and you can just see how he closes up under brakes there. But then Ewer's got the engine power to pull that gap out as they exit that corner.
Yeah, and I'm finding it really surprising at the moment. He's struggling to try and get around these lap cars at the moment, Bernie, which it's a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, well, it just goes to show, how strong the depth of field is. Even the guys that are being lapped are still out there on race pace, pretty much on the top 3 race pace.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Juha's defending here, and George has got out the road there, and we've gone too wide, but Juha just couldn't get the power down there, and Bernie, that's so close.
Certainly is. That was great driving by both of those, and Ewer did try to box Gary in behind George, but it didn't work. George has got through now up into second position, and he's got a 10.6 second gap up to the leader now.
Yeah, and Sam's doing a great job in there, and he got around him on that last pit stop and got the lead here, and he's been out in the lead for 5 laps, so good job there. Sam's been hovering around in there. He showed how quick he was, and he's done this race by himself. I said he might have his co-driver there, but obviously that's not a showing up, and he's driven this race from start to finish, Bernie.
Yeah, and it's good to see they can actually now do this race with one driver. In the past, he would have had to park that car about now, so what a great effort there by Sam Sutton. 10.6 second gap at the moment over Gary Hamilton in second.
Yeah, doing a great job, and these lap times aren't that slow. I mean, for Osborne, did a 35.7 previous lap, and so did Sam, so he's definitely not going slow, Sam, at the moment.
No, he certainly isn't. He's excuse me for yawning, folks, it's been a long day. The gap now is 11.2 seconds back to Gary, and Gary's just about pulled a second out on Ewer, so Ewer is definitely struggling a bit out there with the GT3 this late in the race.
Yeah, I wonder if he's pushed the car. Christian did say that they struggled through the mid section of the stint with the Ford GT, so this is a stage where he might be just struggling a little bit with the car, and we can see there it's just losing the back a little bit, but it comes back to him near the end of the stint, so we'll see how he keeps this gap, and he might be able to close it back in, and we might have another battle with these two later on.
Yeah, and we'll jump on board with Ewer now, so you can just see the wheel work of him handling this GT3 for a lap around Zandvoort. folks, that was a lap around Zandvoort with third place sitter Ewa Hanakopi for Blackadder Motorsport. So I'll tell you what, those Ford GT3 sound wonderful, Adrian.
Now they certainly do, don't they, Benny? Nice growling V8 there, and yeah, certainly something nice to have. And geez, a bit tight here with Sean O'Brien. And he just got taken by the 222 there as Gary just took that move as well, and it looks like his teammates let him through there.
Yeah, definitely, and at the moment it's still the same out front. Sam Sutton, pretty much his race to lose at this point, with an 11.1 second gap over Gary Hamilton back there in second. He's got his teammate there riding shotgun, just protecting his rear end there, but Ewa's got quite a bit of work to do. He's dropped back, what is it now, over 2 seconds over Gary. Christopher Osborne though, he's starting to close in. He's only 3.7 seconds behind Ewa at this stage. And then we've got Andrew Kanowski sitting back there in fifth with Lewis Kugeley right behind him. So there's a bit of a battle for fifth and sixth, and there's going to be a battle for third and fourth very shortly.
Yeah, Benny, I think Christopher might have got the unofficial lap record here. It hasn't come up that he's done the fastest lap, but he did a 1:34.8 that last lap, so he's definitely flying, isn't he?
He certainly has, and yeah, he's been awarded the fastest lap for that. We just brought up that overlay now, so 1:34.8, that's absolutely flying, as you said. That must be the fastest lap. Well, it is the fastest lap, isn't it? That's how stupid I am at this time of the night.
Yeah, definitely. It's not his fastest lap that he's done in qualifying. He did a 34.7, and I know I'm splitting hairs, but you know that's qualifying time he's doing at the moment. And I think in practice he did a 34.3. So obviously in practice he would have had a low fuel tank and fresh rubber to sort of put that sort of lap time down. But yeah, Chris is quite the operator, and I knew he'd definitely put the power on, but look, I don't think the strategy has quite worked out for these guys, as George is fighting here for position, I think.
Yeah, and that's with Dylan Shepherd, as Dylan now side by side. Christopher's getting it all sideways as he threads a needle in between both of them and takes them. That's pretty good driving there.
Yeah, Bernie, I was needing to go to the toilet with that movements there, because that was quite hairy.
It certainly was, to weave in between two cars battling. That shows a lot of confidence in your car, doesn't it?
Well, those two cars were battling, and then you had a GT, one of those battling cars, going sideways, and then Chris decided that he'd get in the action as well. So yeah, that was a bit exciting, I reckon.
It certainly was, and you can see at the moment Chris is in no mood to be slowed up too much, because his target is Ewa Hanakopi, and that gap now is 2.9 seconds.
Yeah, I know where Chris is hitting to, and I don't think it's Ewa. I think he's pointing for Sam Sutton at the moment, Bernie. We know how aggressive Chris can be in the car, and he can put those lap times down time and time again, but obviously we see this racetrack and it's not really forgiving for overtaking, so we're not going to see Chris put in those sort of lap times lap after lap, but we'll see him make a few aggressive moves, that's for sure. Oh, and that was aggressive.
It certainly was. Was there contact there? It certainly
I think
like
yeah, I think there might be, as he's sliding that car around. He's in no mood to play games here at the moment, Bernie.
No, he certainly isn't. We're just jumping back to this replay, because Sean definitely ended up on the side of the track there.
I'm just going to watch your replay, Bernie, once again. It's probably a little bit easier. It might be a little bit slower, but it's better to watch yours.
I don't know. We're not actually going to see the contact by the looks of it. Yeah, we'll keep a close eye on this. Yeah, it's he did definitely give him a serve as he went past, and poor Sean ended up hitting the fence. So that was a pretty tough result there for the number 90 Selby Motorsports, it must be said.
Yeah, they've been working hard, and yeah, definitely a little bit of contact there, just unsettled the back of that rough, and we know that those cars don't usually like being unsettled at the best of time, but they've improved that through this season, but getting that lift up definitely didn't help it.
No, that's right, and you know, it's showing that Christopher's in no mood to be slowed up by other cars' his lap, and that's for sure, but I think that move was a bit too aggressive in my mind, but I'm only the commentator, so we'll keep on going here, but he's definitely closing in on Ewer. And I tell you what, do you think the way Chris is driving, do you think he'll actually be able to catch Gary at this stage?
But it's going to come down to quite a few factors, Benny. We do have 18 minutes to go, so definitely a lot of time there for game with the way that Chris drives. I mean, we know he's quick, and he's definitely being really aggressive here at the moment, so his times aren't going to be slow. But I mean, if we just look at that previous lap time, he did a 36 in lap traffic. He was the second quickest out of the top 4 guys, so, and Gary was quicker than him, so you know, these times are definitely going to drop eventually, but we can see there he was quicker again. So he may catch Gary, but it's going to depend on how well he can get past Juha. But if he's in no mood to take no prisoners, he just might push him out the road again.
That's right, and the number 80 of the Selby Motorsports team definitely let Christopher through that time, so they must be on the radio to each other. But 7 seconds is the gap from Christopher to Gary, so he's definitely going to have his work cut out for him if he's going to make that gap in 17 minutes.
Yeah, it's look, I'm not going to take it away from Chris. He can definitely drive a car, so he possibly could catch up to Gary. But once again, it's going to come down to this traffic, and look, I don't know if he's putting a message out there to people to watch out, he's coming through or what, but well, there goes another car out the road, so they're definitely watching out for him now.
Yeah, I think that message has definitely been put out there by the way these guys are sidestepping and letting him through there. So anyway, we've got Christopher now closing in on Ewer, and one thing I know is Ewer's not going to step aside for him, and this battle's going to be on for 3rd position.
Yeah, certainly will be, and yeah, it's going to be interesting how Chris gets around here. I know we're stuck on these guys at the moment. I'm pretty certain there's we've got a good battle there between 5th and 6th as well at the moment. That's pretty close racing at the moment, but I'm going to stick here with Chris at the moment. I'm interested to see how well he handles Juha.
Yeah, well, that's right, and depending how much this battle goes on for will really depend whether he has a hope in hell of catching Gary.
Yeah, well, that's right, Bernie, and we can see here at the moment Juha is probably half a second slower than Gary at the moment, so it's going to hold up Chris. So it'll be interesting on how quickly Chris gets around here. And I saw the brakes come on there on Juha, so definitely the car's not handling the well as they'd like it at the moment.
No, he's definitely having to finesse that car at this stage, and we can see, you know, Christopher's all over the back of him now, but the Ford GT3's wide, and I'm sure it's about to get about a couple of feet wider either side now.
Yeah, certainly will be. I mean, once again, you know, Juha's not going to lay over for him, and nor should he, but we've got to see how well this pans out, and that's why I want to stick with it as Chris gets a little bit crossed out coming out of that corner.
Yeah, Ewer's got a good run off here, but Chris has got a better run. As you can see him now closing right up on the back. He's going to make a move here, I think.
He just laid off there, I think, Bernie. Just gave himself a better drive, and he's got that move done. So what I might quickly do now is go back to this battle on 5th and 6th, because I'll keep an eye on that Christopher Osborne car through the telemetry there, and just watch these guys. It's close, but it's not close, if you know what I mean, Bernie.
Yeah, we've got Andrew Kanowski and Lewis Kugeley back here battling for 5th and 6th. While you're keeping an eye on that, I'm going to keep an eye on Christopher Osborne up here as he's trying to close in now on Gary Hamilton. He's already left Ewa behind and pulled out probably about a 5-car length. But viewers, I'm sure that if this battle with Andrew and Lewis heats up, Adrian will let us know and we'll jump straight to that battle.
There's a good one at the moment, and it's not even Andrew and Lewis at the moment. It's Dylan Shepherd and Adam Funslow. Adam's really hound on the back of Dylan's GT here at the moment, and he may have got through here. Oh, it's tight, Bernie, going through the last hairpin corner. Ooh, yeah, Adam looks like he's got this job done, or does he?
Yeah, all the Ford's really showing its pace, but no, Adam's got that done. Good move. I tell you what, Adrian, isn't it fantastic seeing all these multi-cars going at it here tonight?
Yeah, Bernie, it's good to see this 4GT and, the rough in there. So it's definitely a good mix now. We've got definitely a mix of 3 cars now that are showing a race, instead of seeing the old roughs and then the BMWs and a couple of McLarens, and looks like the poor old McLarens are going to the wayside again, and now it's the roughs, the Fords and the BMW. So it's good to see that we've got the 3 mix there, and it's working okay now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think although, the McLaren has gone by the wayside a bit, I think given the right track it's going to be competitive, and iRacing's just about got this mix right now, I reckon.
They can't fix every car straight away, and they've got to work on it, and they're doing a great job. We know the BMW is not great. It's going to suffer in a couple of high speed tracks, but it's holding its own tonight. It's definitely not the quickest out there, we know that, but definitely they're doing a good job tonight.
Yeah, that's right. And we don't want these cars to be all identical anyway. We do want them to have differences, and we do want them to show their strengths and weaknesses, which I think that's what's happening now. And when we get to the different tracks, I think we'll see different cars show their strengths.
Well, that's exactly right, Bernie. I mean, if we want the same sort of cars, we might as well grab a NASCAR and whack it on the track. We'll go and get a Legends car or something like that. That's not what we want here. We like to see the different brands. We like to see who can get the car set up well and true to life racing.
Exactly right. And I tell you what, at the moment Christopher Osborne is within 3 seconds of Gary Hamilton already. So he's absolutely flying in that Ford GT3 at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I'm waiting for those times to come up. But it looks like at the moment, Chris is taking a second a lap off of Gary. So it's not going to be long before he joins up with him. It's this battle here between Lewis and Andrew is basically the same as what it was at the start of the race here, Bernie. They're basically keeping the same distance apart. There's no one's gaining and no one's losing, really. You'll have one gain one lap and one will lose the next lap. So these guys are close. They're battling, but it's not that close at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. I think we'll stay with Christopher at the moment because it's getting quite exciting here, folks. 10 minutes to go. Christopher's closing in second last lap. 2.3 seconds is the gap now. So this is a great drive here by the Direct Clutch Services team.
Yeah, it just goes to show, we know Chris can drive a car, and we know when he's going to put it on, and he's been asked again tonight, to put a big effort in here to try and close up. As for first place, I don't think they're going to do it, Bernie, quite personally, but second position, definitely, on results tonight. Whether that's held up after the race, because we know I'll have post-race discussions, and we did see an incident there. I'm not going to say too much more about that one. That's up to the stewards to decide, but we'll see what happens after the race. But yeah, no, he's putting in a big effort here and driving the car as hard as he normally does.
Yeah, definitely. As one of the Pagnian roughs just get off the track there to let both of them through. But you're right, I think time's going to beat him in winning this race outright. But if he can get this car up into second spot, that's a hell of an achievement considering how far down they were after that final pit stop.
Yeah, I think they were trying to, keep this car light on fuel, Bernie, to try and get those lap times down to where they are. And they were hoping that they weren't going to be this far back, I think, Bernie. I think that's what they were trying to achieve with their strategy, but unfortunately it hasn't quite worked out, especially with the lap traffic. It's such a hard track to overtake, and through practice and that you might find it easy overtaking, but guys are out there practicing, and if they let you through, they let you through. But on a race day, it's a totally different ball game, and everyone's just found it a little bit harder to get by here at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. But saying that, what's this gap now? It's down to 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I've gone to the blimp here, Bernie, just to see how quickly he closes up. But definitely bringing this GT, and we know the poor old rough gets a little bit understeery at the end. And if Chris pushes Gary here, I'm not the one to say that Gary makes a mistake, but if that car is starting to understeer, it's going to make it hard for him to try and keep that thing straight.
Yeah, that's right. We've gone to a static TV view, folks, just for something different. Once they close up, I will go back to our normal camera, but I was getting a bit sick of it, so hope you enjoy these static TV camera shots.
It's good to mix it up there, Bernie. May as well. We get to see the different views, usually standard views all the time. We use the roof cam here already tonight. I know I'm using the blimp, so I know some of the viewers love the roof cam, and it's pretty cool one. That's a good one to have, and I'm sure they're getting a few more of them involved soon too.
Yeah, well, that gap now, Christopher Osborne has closed in 0.8 of a second and closing.
Yeah, definitely getting in there, isn't he, Bernie? So Gary's just been pacing himself, but like I said, if that car's going to be a bit understeery at the end here and getting that pressure from Chris, it's going to be interesting on who makes a mistake. And it's I'm not saying that's just one of those things with these cars. If they're getting loose, you're going to make that small mistake, and it's going to cost you that position.
Yeah, well, we're looking out off the roof of Christopher, and we can definitely see Gary's car is starting to get loose now under that cornering. So it's going to be how much tyre has he got left on that car to fight for this third position on the podium, or second actually.
Yeah, that's it. It makes it so hard to try and hang on, and sometimes I think if you know that you can't hang on, you're better off just taking that position. I think they'll have third covered for sure. It's early. It's round 1 of season 3. Drop that position now, and I know it's one position and every point counts, but you're better off just dropping one, or you might lose the whole race, Benny. You might even lose a lot more than what you do.
Well, that's right. So with 5 minutes to go, folks, the battle for second is now well and truly on, and it looks like Gary's car's getting a bit loose now, and Christopher's got his head down, so this should be quite exciting.
Yeah, and we see how much Chris leaned on going into turn 1 and into that turn as well, Bernie.
That's right, he's right on him now. The gap is 2/10 of a second Oh, as he closes right up, he nearly ran up the back of Gary then.
Yeah, just that car is really unsettled in it by Gary's, and we're just waiting to see what happens here. That he's really got to back those corners up, Gary, at the moment, so it shows you how loose this thing must be.
Definitely, and he had to tap the brakes there going through that big sweeper, and Christopher nearly ran straight up the back of him.
Yeah, Chris is trying to get through and try and chase down to the leader, but you know, Sam's doing a great job out the front there. Sorry, Sam, for not being on you, but you know, doing a great job out there, and still got that 14-second gap to Gary. So yeah, there's no chance for Chris to get first place. He's going to be able to get second though.
Yeah, well, the way it's looking, I think he will get... Oh, geez, lost it. We've lost Gary.
Yeah, lost Gary. Like I said, Bernie, it's just one of those things. That car was getting loose, and just trying to hang on to it was the hard thing for him to do, like I said. But I don't know how bad... Oh, this car is badly damaged, Bernie. Badly damaged.
Yeah, we're just jumping on the replay now, folks, and Gary's definitely got some heavy front-end damage of this car. Let's hope he can get this car home.
Yeah, he's gone to the pits, Bernie, to get a quick repair done and out. So he'll lose a few more positions here.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. He's just got his rear wheel in that grass there, and heavy right across that. Oh yeah, he's hit that fence rear on really hard. So that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, just running wide, trying to hold off the best I can. Like I said, Bernie, you know, just that pressure in the car not being really good to drive near the end of the race, and it just one of those small mistakes, and has cost him a lot more than third place, Bernie. It's cost him you know, a lot more, and luckily he's in fourth, and he might be able to hang on to that.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, he was lucky to get that car in the pits, because he had to turn 90 degrees to get that car to steer in the end, and he almost would have had to get a tow. But having a look at our top three, folks, we've got Sam Sutton now in the lead, 14.9 second gap. Well, actually it's over 15 seconds now, back to Christopher Osborne in second position. Hanakopi finds himself up into third position now. Some, what is he down? 10 seconds down from Christopher Osborne. Gary Hamilton at the moment, he has taken a fast repair, and he is 7 seconds down from third place, so he'll probably settle for that at this stage. Looking back at fifth at the moment, we've got Andrew Kanowski still in that battle with Lewis Kuberly. Fourth, fifth spot, and those guys have been at it for at least the last hour.
Yeah, they've been fighting there, and with Gary's incident there, he's almost put them in the clutches of this fifth spot battle. So we almost had a three-way battle for fourth place, Bernie.
Yeah, and the last guy on the lead lap is Colin Schweck, currently in seventh in the number 747. So they've been doing a good job again tonight.
Yeah, certainly have, Bernie, and you know, good result there for TD Racing. Two in the top 10, with the boss there in 13th at the moment. So must have struggled there in that second stint.
Yeah, I'd say so. With 35 seconds to go, folks, I guess we're having a look at this battle between Andrew and Lewis, but we should really go and give our our race leader a bit of airtime, because we haven't seen a lot of him tonight, but that's what happens when you have such a big gap.
Yeah, certainly, Bernie. We did see his early on in the race there how well he was driving, and then he's got out in the lead after the last pit stops, and that's where he stayed. So he's done a fantastic job. So since the pits, he's done 23 laps in the lead. So a fantastic job here by Sam tonight, and he's run the race all by himself. So that makes it even a bigger feat in its own, Bernie.
Yeah, I was about to say that, you know, running this whole distance, 2 hours 35 by yourself, he's going to be absolutely exhausted, but I tell you what, he's only got probably 4 corners to go till he takes a checkered flag of round 1 of the SEK Queensland GT Series.
Yeah, what a great job he's done tonight. Driven this all by himself for 2.5 hours, and we say 2.5 hours, it's actually longer than that with practice and sitting in that seat for that amount of time. And he hasn't really had a look at the Shelby car. He's just left it alone, hasn't tried to do anything with that big of a gap, and brings the car home across the line there, Bernie. Well done to Sam.
Yeah, Sam Sutton takes round 1 of the SEK Queensland GT Series here tonight at Zandvoort. Fantastic drive there, and well done, mate. Looking second at the moment, Christopher Osborne brings home the Direct Clutch Services car in second, and he's very happy with that result. And of course, you are Hanakopi for Blackadder Motorsport, well-deserved 3rd position there tonight. But my heart has to go out to Gary Hamilton, who's going to have to settle for 4th position as he's coming down to the S's now.
Yeah, it looks like his teammates just had a big one before the end of the race, so it doesn't look like they're going to finish that race there, Bernie. And this battle's still going on here with Andrew and Lewis, and we'll see if Andrew can hold this off to the end.
Yeah, so we're just following Gary now as he comes across the line to take 4th position. Looking back, I think Andrew's going to hold Lewis. Well done to TD Racing to finish 5th tonight.
Yeah, well done to Andrew, and well done to Lewis as well. You know, fighting there. Those two were inseparable all night long. And the second TD Racing car coming across the line now, Bernie, with the Schweck boys. Great job by those boys tonight, and good to see that they've had a good race tonight.
Yeah, definitely. They've had a really good race tonight. So TD have, let's have a look, they've got definitely 2 cars in the top 10. Where did Tim finish? He's finished down in 12th position, so that's a really strong effort by TD Racing tonight, and it bodes well for them for the rest of the season.
Yeah, certainly does, and shout out there for Paul Mansell and George Fullerton as well. Brought their BMW home in 8th. Adam Funslow, great job by them as well, with Nick Rainbird finished 9th, and Dylan Shepherd brought his Ford GT home in 10th place there, Bernie.
Yeah, that's right. Fantastic. And we're watching Sam Sutton doing donuts on the main straight. Ooh, he's going to hit the fence again. It's the first dent he's put in that car all night as he celebrates that win. But folks, we'll take you through the full grid now so you can see where your favourite drivers finished tonight. So Sam Sutton, fantastic drive, wins tonight in the Ford GT3. Christopher Osborne comes home in 2nd position in the Ford GT3, and to round out the GT3s 1, 2 and 3, Mr. Hanakopi for Blackadder Motorsport. Gary Hamilton comes home in 4th and the first rough home. Then we've got Andrew Kanowski, Lewis Kugerly, Colin Schweck and Paul Mansell all coming home in BMWs, so that's 5th down to 8th. Adam Funslow finishes in 9th, and Dylan Shepherd comes home in 10th position. 11th is Aaron Pearson, 1 lap down. Tim Ballinger home in 12th. Gavin Sadler, fantastic driver. We didn't see much of Gavin, but they got that car home in 13th tonight. Michael Schreier and the only McLaren out there home in 14th. Adam Newton 15th. Sean O'Brien 16th. Marwood 17th. 18th was Matthew Dignam. 19th Gary Fishwick. Chris Keeping in the rough is home in 20th. 21st Paul Rogers. 22nd Houston and 4 laps down. Guy Leach 7 laps down in 23rd. Trevor Forster, I think it is, in 24th, 14 laps down. Lance Hawes, 21 laps down. We saw him parked on the side of the road with 2 laps to go. And then that pretty much rounds out our field because Jake Burton and Richard Brookfield did not make the start tonight. So, Adrian, what do you think of that race tonight, mate?
Another great effort by everyone tonight. We had our usual couple of incidences, as you do, and as you always will do. I suppose, Benny, you'll never get those out of this sort of racing. But once again, put it on, and it showed that this track was very difficult to pass tonight.
It certainly was, and we've got our race winner waiting in the green room to come up, so we'll bring him up and have a bit of a chat. Did you want to have a chat with him?
Yeah, might as well, Bernie.
And it turned out... Oh.
Sorry, Sam, interrupted your conversation there with Dylan. Congratulations on your win. One is the only number in both respects, first to finish and first all night by yourself, mate.
Yeah, it wasn't how we planned it to be. Jake's meant to co-drive with me, but a few admin issues on our side meant he wasn't in the team list to actually join the service. So I tried to get a reserve driver in, but he didn't own the track. So we're like, all right, we're just going to go with me drive the whole thing. And we weren't. I didn't think we were going to win it actually after the first stint. But then I found our long run pace was pretty good, and the last stop I was just working at 2 litres a minute, and it worked out perfectly.
No, well done. Your lap times were quite good. I think your fastest lap time was 1:35. It might be a bit quicker than that. I'm just seeing on my quick overlays there, but it's generally around that time. You're about 1:36 most of the time, so you were putting in some good times there, mate.
Yeah, the car was... I don't know whether the track got cooler or not throughout the run, but the last stint, the car was dynamite. I was still doing around 35.8s, 35.9s in the last sort of 5 laps, so I don't know what was on that track at the end of the stint there, but it was a great car to drive.
Yeah, the temperature only dropped to 1 degree, so it wasn't a big drop, so I don't think the track temperature would have helped the car too much. I think it would have been just the driver getting used to the car and the way it went, but overall the race, we will see. I'm trying to remember where you started from. Actually, I'll just quickly bring it up. 4th, so you qualified 4th, but you were having a good battle there with the guys up there early on.
Yeah, I couldn't find my right foot off the start, so I dropped back to 6th by turn 1, and then just get caught up behind the McLaren because it can't brake as deep as the Ford. It was a bit awkward the first few laps. So once I cleared those guys, it was shut my sights on Gary, and then we kind of dealt with him in the first stop, and then we dealt with the Blackadder car as well in the next stop, as well as the DCM car.
Yeah, how hard is that Ford off a rolling start? It looked like nearly all of them struggled to get get that power down.
Yeah, it's got a really long first gear. Even on the short ratio, it's got a really long first gear. So I had a bit of a slow reaction as well, but even the guys in front of me, who were both Fords, had a good reaction time, and they still got caught up. So just the gearing in the Fords what really messed us over.
And we also saw that the Ford was actually getting out of the corners quite well, which is a bit surprising from previous times. We always seen like it struggled a bit, but it looks like these new upgrades with the tyre mods and probably even the upgrade on the Ford, it seems to be handling the torque down low now.
Yeah, it stops really good, and then the middle of the corners where it's the strongest. I found I was losing out on exit to both the rough and the BMW. BMW less so than the Porsche, because I was trying to pass, I think it was Braden Reed or so, the 111 car, and I would get really close under brakes and in the middle of the corner, but he'd just drive away, especially in the low down rev range. So the Ford's definitely a better car to drive than it was. I know we weren't going to run the Ford until I said to Jake, hey, the Ford's pretty good, let's drive it. So I don't know, it's a good car, and it's definitely better than when they first released it.
Yeah, a few upgrades, mate, and definitely made an improvement on it. I think we've all been shouting out to try and get this car up there, and it's good to see we've actually got 3 manufacturers up there now battling for race results.
It's just a shame about the McLaren though. That's a good car, but it's just shocking everywhere. Doesn't stop, doesn't turn. So those guys who run the McLaren, they're probably the bravest guys out there. They're sacrificing race results to drive a car that's kind of fun. But yeah, definitely that each car has a season where it's on top, and I think the Ford might be on top this season.
Yeah, I think that looks the way at the moment. You usually can tell from the first race on something like this with the guys that are out there. So through this season, you guys have definitely got your team sorted. What's the plans for these sprint rounds where we're going to have a couple of all-ins? What's your thoughts on that?
For me and Jake, because we do the V8 Premier Series, I think we're missing a few rounds because of that. So I think all the all-in sprint rounds are actually on Premier Series nights, so we won't be there for them. But if I was there, I think that'd be a great race. They put them on big grids, so it'd be hectic, and they're short races, so they'd make a carnage.
Yeah, cool. It'd be a shame that you guys are doing that, but well, we can't have everything, especially with your brilliant start to the race series, mate.
Yeah, well, I had a win in Star Mazda the other night, so I think you guys are my lucky charm. Just keep broadcasting all races and I'll keep winning. But yeah, winning Thursday night in the Star Mazda and then tonight was good as well, and it was nice to finish with some fuel across the line.
Yeah, so how well is that Ford with fuel? I did mention it can run a lot longer, but obviously running longer doesn't always necessarily mean that it's the best option to go with, but definitely longer in fuel.
We could get an hour and 10 minutes out of it, but you wouldn't want to go that long with the tyres. I think DCM tried it in the first stop to run it dry, and they ended up losing more time because of the undercut, and also they were sliding everywhere. So I think 50 minutes to an hour is where you want to go with all the GT3s, and I was sort of skating a bit at just that 50-minute mark at the end, but I think the Ford's definitely got a longer range than all the cars.
Yeah, cool. Think I'm just about out. I'm sure Bernie's dying to ask you a few more questions, so I'm going to palm it off to Bernie to ask you a few more questions.
Yeah, Sam, we should call you Superman Sam after that drive, but I noticed you did put a dent in the car, and that was while you were doing donuts, so how embarrassed are you over that?
I don't get to do them much, so I turned around and I saw the pit wall. I'm like, oh well, I'm going to be that guy who crashes at doing their donuts, so oh well.
Yeah, I think you joined the ranks of some other famous V8 driver who did the same thing at Barbagallo a year or two ago. So, but I should say, over that long stint, 2 hours 35, how was your concentration and how are you feeling physically now?
I feel great. I could keep going. I've done longer stints before in the HPD. I did a 5-hour stint at the Sebring 12-hour this year. So the long stints aren't an issue for me. And Zandvoort's a pretty easy track to stay focused because every corner's got something that'll bite you. If it was a longer track like Spa where you have a really long straight to switch off, that's when you got to start to worry.
Oh man, I don't think I could go 5 hours in a HPD, but fantastic drive tonight and well done. So before we let you go, what racing you got in store for you this week?
Well, we got the Star Master Series Thursday night, and then Jake and I will both be jumping over to V8's Online to do their Premier Series Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So busy week for me, but it's good fun racing.
Yeah, that's right. So folks, if you like the V8s online, V8 Supercars, definitely tune in for the Premier Series and see if Sam can take that out. But I must say, if you don't win that race, you'll have to come back to the RRTV broadcasts where your lucky charms are.
Yeah, well, hopefully I can repeat Thursday night in Smack, but I don't know. It's always good racing these races. They're a bit of a change from what I usually drive, so it's nice to know about a bit of pace in other cars.
Yeah, that's right. So before we let you go, Sam, did you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, big thanks to Daco. They've been on board with us for about 9 months now, so doing a great job, and always these wins are good to rep their brand. So thanks to Daco and Asire as well. We didn't get to see his paint because training paints is annoying.
Yeah, we didn't get to see a lot of paints tonight, but I assure you we did refresh about 3 times earlier in the broadcast. It just wasn't happening tonight. But anyway, Sam, well done on taking out round 1 of the SEK Queensland GT Series here at Zandvoort. And we look forward to seeing you racing in the Star Mazda on Thursday night.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
So we've got Dylan Shepherd waiting for an interview. Dylan came in 10th, so we'll bring him up and have a bit of a chat. Hi Dylan, welcome to the RRTV commentary box. Before we get started, how did that race go for you tonight?
Look, that was an awesome race for Dean and I. We weren't expecting too much out of the car or anything, but we had a consistent race and no mistakes, and yeah, I think what we came was well deserved for us. So yeah, look, we're really happy with how we went tonight. You know, 10th is pretty good in this series, is competitive. So yeah, great race tonight actually.
Yeah, and how did you like the Ford GT3 over the longer stint compared to what it was last season?
Look, the Ford GT seemed to be really consistent tonight. I only ended up dropping about 7/10 off the times I was doing in my earlier stint, so the consistency on it was just surprising, to be honest. Didn't really do any long stints in testing, so yeah, it was good to see how consistent it is. Just a bit more outright pace, and we might be up there fighting for some higher positions.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you will be as the season goes on. Now, we're looking at these sprint races where it's going to be all in big fields. Are you going to be participating in those rounds?
Yeah, I would say me and Dean O'Brien will be having a crack at that, and yeah, look, that's going to be an interesting thing. It'd be good to see all the drivers, all the main drivers, just to come out and punch out in a sprint race. It's always good racing when you get all the drivers in. So, look, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, with a touch of crazy thrown in, I think, for good measure. So, as this race unfolded tonight, and did it really go to plan, or did anything go wrong with the car over the 2 hours 35 minutes? Okay, we might have lost Dylan there. Are you still with us, Dylan?
Yeah, can you hear me? I've just cut out for a bit.
That's all right.
Don't have me?
Yeah, we've got you now. I was just asking you, over the longer distance, did the race go to plan, or did you find any unexpected issues with the Ford GT3?
No, the only problem we had all night was when Dean had a bit of contact, and it gave him a bit of aero damage, and ended up losing a second a lap. But we just kept him out there, and when the first pit stop came by, used a fast repair, and we were back on pace again. We didn't really plan a pit stop. We just knew that there was going to be 2 fuel stops, and yeah, with the last half hour or so, I just said to Dean over the mic, I just said, let's just calculate how many laps we need to finish, and we did that and put that much fuel in, and it was done. So yeah, it was awesome.
Fantastic, and I'll hand you over to Adrian Jarvis here and see if Adrian's got any questions for you.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie. Dylan, so with your race tonight, how is it with you battling with the guys? We don't generally talk about it, but we do see that the talent in this series is quite good. So just quickly tell the viewers how good the battles were while you were out there racing.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realise how competitive this series is. Like, you have all these V8 Supercar series in our Australian community, and there's all the big names in that. Like, we look at people and they go, oh look, here's the big name here, but when you come to SEK and you're kind of new to it, you don't know who the good people are. So everyone here is just super talented. Like, they all put so much time in to race this series. Like, it's just a whole new race series, and it's just awesome. Like, I don't really know who the really quick people are yet, but like, I know like all the DCM drivers are the ones to beat by the looks of it. But yeah, look, I've seen battled with a few of them through the last season, which was my first season, and yeah, to be battling with some of them tonight that I normally don't really get to have the chance to be up with was a bit interesting. And look, they're all the cleanest drivers I've ever driven with any series. I think that's something that this series prides itself on, is how clean it is. And yeah, look, yeah, I got a couple of good moves in, I think, without contact, and I let a couple of other good people in there. They leave you nice racing room coming into the corners, and they plan it out, and they're patient because it's such a long race. And yeah, look, I love racing here, and yeah, I think we're going to be hanging around for a while.
Yeah, it's good to see that you're getting feedback, and I'm sure the boys that put the show on are good. Love hearing that sort of feedback, and definitely something that we're going to build on. And I'm sure with the new cars coming on board soon, which everyone's hanging out for, and I'm sure everyone in the iRacing community is as well. I'm sure you are as well, waiting for that Aston, and same with that Mercedes coming along. Still having trouble there, Dylan, with your mic at the moment.
Yeah, have you guys got me yet?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, it just cuts out every now and then. yeah, it's going to be interesting because it's come a long way since it was only the McLaren. Like, I remember racing when it was just the McLaren, and then the Rough came out and the series really grew, and then you got the BMW, and now the 4 GT3s at it, and then we've got these 2 other cars coming along. Like, we're going to have such a diverse field, and yeah, it's going to be really interesting because, yeah, you don't know who's going to run what, because, like, I'd favour to drive the BMW, but a couple of seasons ago, everyone was running it, and I wanted to be different, but I think when all these cars come out, and they're out there, no one's going to, I don't think everyone's just going to favour one car. It's just going to be a complete diverse field, and that's going to be really good to see, I think.
Yeah, for sure, and it just goes to show that iRacing has got to move quickly to try and keep up. I think the next step for these guys is trying to get multi-class racing in here. We know they struggle with it a little bit. The AEC boys do a pretty good job in what they do over there with that multi-class, but hopefully iRacing keeps moving forward, which I think they are. I think there's talk that they want to put GT1 and GT3s together, I think.
Yeah, I think the only problem that we face at the moment is the maximum different cars are allowed in sessions, because I think it's only 4 or 5, I think, so yeah, you can't have all the GT3s in there because that takes up most of your slots, and then try and fit your GT1s in. I think that's the problem we have with hosting at the moment, and you can't grid by class when you have more than one class in there. So with AEC, you notice, we've had to run the numbers to separate what class it is, because we don't know. iRacing doesn't tell you which class is what, depending on how the host has set it. But I think once they sort that out and know a bit of code, and yeah, it's just going to get even bigger and better, I think.
Yeah, certainly will, and instead of us keep dragging on here, because I know Formula One's on, and we got to go and watch that. So we're going to sit there and watch more motor racing. Before we let you go, Dylan, a bit of a shout out there to your sponsors and your mates and that down there.
Yeah, thanks to One Performance Racing and all my mates that have been following it lately. I've had a couple of people come up to me every now and then, noticing what we're doing, and it's good to see. TPR Engineering for their help and support, and Custom Image Concepts for all the help they do as well. And I think they just started the Ford GT this morning, so yeah, it was good to get a car on track. So yeah, thanks to everyone that helps us and supports us, and thanks to you guys for the awesome work you do. Yeah, thanks. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan.
Okay, Adrian, before we wrap this broadcast up, drive of the night, I'm opting for Sam Sutton at this point, mainly because he was out the front all the time and pretty much drove from start to finish. What's your choice?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you again, Bernie. This is a bit unusual for me. 2 races in a row, I'm agreeing with you. Personally, I don't try and always pick the guy that wins or the team that wins the race, just for the simple fact is that I generally don't look at that. I look at someone or a team that's progressed through the field and started from a position and worked their way through and done a fantastic job. But tonight Sam's done the ultimate, 2.5 hours of racing and made progression throughout the field as well. So even though he started fourth, he still had to battle his way to get to that top spot. Yeah,
that's right. But as far as teams of the night go, I'd be giving a big shout out to 2 in particular. One would be Blackadder Motorsport, bringing a car home in 3rd and 6th. And the other team is, of course, TD Racing, who's got a car home in 5th, 7th and 12th. So big shout out to both of those teams. They've done a brilliant job tonight.
Yeah, Blackadder's done a great job again. We've seen them last season. They were one of the teams there that pushing forward and making big progresses. And this season they've split that team into 2 different cars. So to get a GT up there in 3rd spot, and then obviously their first BMW home there in 6th as well. And yeah, TD Racing, once again, they've expanded to another car, got an extra 2 drivers in there and 2 quality drivers as well, Bernie. So to put that effort in, they're doing a great job.
Yeah, they certainly are. Well, anyway, folks, we should wrap this up. it's been a very long day. If you missed any of our broadcasts earlier in the day, they're up on our YouTube channel. We've got the Australian New Zealand Skip Barber Championship there, as well as AusSmack, which ran earlier today. Looking forward to the week. Of course, we've got tomorrow night with the Monday night skippies. They will kick off at 9:15 tomorrow night. Then on Thursday night, come and join us for the Star Mazda Australian Championship, and that broadcast will kick off at 9:05 p.m. Thursday night. So anyway, Adrian, thanks for joining me once again, mate. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you again, possibly Thursday night, if not next Sunday night.
Yeah, Benny. We'll see how Thursday goes, but definitely next week for sure. I'm here with bells and whistles, and I'd just like to again thank you for letting me up here to broadcast with you. I love watching the racing. I think I do a better job up here commentating than I would be down there. I'm sure I'd be in the fence more times than I would be if I was racing, so I'd probably be out of the race quite early on, so at least I can sit here and talk about it longer than I do drive it.
We should take that challenge up and throw you in a Skip Barber one Monday night and do that again, because that's always fun. But anyway, folks, if you liked our broadcast, definitely click the like button there, tell your friends. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/RedbackRacingTV, so check us out there. And we look forward to you joining us again, possibly tomorrow night. So on behalf of Adrian Jarvis, I've been Bernie Weemers, and thanks for watching RRTV.